I'm glad you can't hear me. My thing was on mute. I'm actually glad you couldn't hear me because I was trying. Somebody just messaged me, and I'm like, "Who the freak is this? And what do you want with me? What time does my show start now? Or are you gonna be on it or not?" Okay, so we're gonna do this two part thing about it. First, y'all, I need you to do me favors. Do me a solid. Share on your page, please. Share this live, as well as like and subscribe to the YouTube Raw News No Fluff. Go to Raw News No Fluff on YouTube, subscribe, and get notifications. Thank you, thank you, thank you. When I get to my 5,000 followers, I'm going to walk a 5K. So y'all just make me feel like I need to get in shape now, okay? Whoever is coming on, your camera is not on, so I'm assuming you're coming on audio just fine. So we're doing a two-parter. The first part we're going to talk about today is how beneficial slavery is. Like all the benefits of slavery, like how wonderful, like what, oh my gosh, like I can just, all right, we're going to talk about that. Whew, I'm excited. And then we're going to go into our next topic, which we'll talk about later. All right. Hope you guys again have subscribed. Share this to your page. Share this to your Facebook, your YouTube, your TikTok, wherever you are. Share it, like it, I love it. Love it for me. And we can get this party started. Who is this? As long as it is a what? Hey, oh, as long as it is a real what?
As long as it's a real rod.
Okay, so the first topic.
Oh, well, shoot.
Is the benefit of slavery. I'm like, oh wait, you might want to switch that title out because I'm thinking, whoa, don't beat the mic. Okay. So whilst you change that, not okay. And we wait for other people to join. I was so excited about last week. Last week was so nice. It was nice to have Cedric and or Free, whatever he want to be called, and Oscar on there. Like that was just, it was lovely. And you on there,
Right.
that was
Thanks for
so
having
nice.
me.
Like it was great conversation. I was like, these people gonna have me up all night long, all night.
Right.
That remind me of that one song. What's that song? Eddie Murphy song. What's it called?
Party all the
My
time.
dang girl. Yes, my dang girl wants to party. Anyway, oh, she back in bed, y'all. She back in bed. Welcome. You can lay down if you want to, because there'll be other people on here that be laying down. Okay, so how was your day? What's going on? What's new? Anything to share? 3 listings in
No,
Orlando.
right. But yeah, realtor.com. Look at her. On Magnolia Homes Road. I really want some roof jobs, y'all. So if y'all know anyone who need their roof completed or need a roof replacement, please let me know.
You can put that if you put that in the comments, I can share it. And but if you put it toward the end, so then I can share it and it stay up for longer than. Did it make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm bringing you on. I'm sorry. I tried to say before because last time I got some spoilers, she was like, so I'm gonna start, letting y'all know beforehand that we're doing that. I'm trying to find there's this thing that I can talk amongst yourselves. How was your day, D? What's up? What's going on?
My day was okay.
Oh.
It was work was work.
Okay.
Yeah, work was work. How was your day?
My day, for some reason, Wednesdays always just pop up on me. And like I just took a shower like 5 minutes ago. They be popping up.
America thanks you for that.
Right. And I thank myself because I was a bit funky today. Welcome. Ooh, all right, ladies. All right, the ladies in the building. Okay. I like it. So, how was your day? Ruler, please.
Ruler.
Okay, so the first topic today is about slavery. Can we correct these names, people? The benefits of slavery. What in the heck?
Oh,
I
that's
don't.
what hers said. Is it in yet? I was trying to read.
Oh, yes, it says, is it in yet?
Y'all, bless the Lord. Bless the Lord. Oh, my soul. Oh, my
What's go-
soul.
what's going on?
Since Wallace was, she gonna change it back to it, but I'm like, yeah, woo.
She's a
I'm a
roofer.
Okay.
roofer. I'm
I
a
want you to
roofer.
tell me what that means.
No, she's an actual roofer.
Oh,
Bro, I told her to put it in the comments because it wouldn't make sense there, but it's cool. How everybody's good. Everybody's good. So we're talking about. I'm so excited how beneficial slavery is. Oh, the joy of slavery.
Ha-
Like
Has everyone said how great you look tonight yet? Your hair and your makeup? Everyone said that to you yet?
who?
Oh
Has
no, no,
everyone?
no one said it yet, just yet. But thanks, Gerard. Thanks. I try.
I don't know who we're talking to,
I'm
but
talking to you, but go ahead.
thank you. Nobody said it yet. Still waiting.
Your makeup looks great.
My face. How you know? Thank you. So, okay, Floridians, we were all born in Florida.
Wow.
And it's like super wonderful. No, you were you born in Florida, D? Where were you, Jamaica? Okay. You came here. You're fine. So,
So rude.
Swella, please.
Oh,
Ain't the time right now. Ain't the time right now. All right.
talk, talk about a shameless plug.
I told her to put it in the comments and I will show it.
Oh, put in the. I don't know how to do that.
Okay,
Oh,
I'll do it.
so that was your
So
plan B? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
to do a breast flash. Okay, so how do we feel about our education from days of old when you were in elementary school, middle school, high school? How do you feel about what was taught to you in during Black History Month? 'Cause that's the only time I learned about Black history, really. So during Black History Month, how do you feel about that education? Share
I
stories, whatever.
I think that Black history it wasn't great then. I think it's much worse now. But I don't think it was great then.
I don't remember learning about Black history in high school. I remember reading in English, like Langston Hughes, certain Black authors, but I don't remember being focused on Black History Month. But I think very similar how I feel today. I think that that's something that we need to take into our own hands. And I remember in high school, I was in student government, so every Black History Month, I celebrated. I had things for our school to do. So like during the bell, instead of the bell ringing, it would play music from different eras in history. And I made Black History Month a thing that the school has to participate in.
She didn't do that freshman year. Love it. That's nice.
I started Beta Alpha Delta freshman year though.
You
Just saying. I
I,
still got the straight rule.
that's interesting. In Orange County, we definitely did learn about Black history. I don't think it was like I said. It was the same old, same old. You learned about the top five that you always learned about. Um, but there were, I guess, because similar kind of was a little different. But we did have a very uh, decent. It wasn't great, but a decent knowledge of Black history.
since Swallow?
I don't remember honestly. I remember them talking about slavery, maybe even Harriet Tubman. Like you said, like the top five, maybe Rosa Parks, maybe. But I really don't remember. I remember um going to when Mama did when my mother. I don't know how we should do it.
That's
Did the Black History class
Mama
once
did.
a week or something? Huh?
When Mama did.
when when she did the Black History class once a week on Saturday, I believe, and had a lot of kids come, and she actually taught us Black history
Y'all
and
moms did
inventors.
Black history class.
In
yeah.
the
Yes,
community.
yeah, and she did it in the cafeteria of the church. That's where
Yep.
we
Caf-
all met.
Cafeteria is whose church?
ACO
ACLJ. And I'm like,
They have a cafeteria.
well,
They
the
the
just
dining
dining hall,
room.
boy.
oh,
It was a dining room. People we used to eat in there. It wasn't the food bank back then. We used to
Right.
actually have tables and we used to eat in there,
That part.
and they used to serve food. And we had Sunday school classes.
And your
So
mom
that's
did
what.
that on her own.
Yes,
Wow.
and she taught,
And
and I think we need to go back to that.
once again, my mama wasn't nothing.
And
You said it. We
and
didn't.
we and whoop,
That part.
you said it, I didn't. And we never learned about the top five, but it never was the rebellion. It was never Nat Turner, never Malcolm X. It was never
Mm-mm.
any of that. I
Oh yeah,
remember
Martin Luther King. We did. Yeah.
in my because I was in the gifted program. Ashley hates when I say that, but I was in the gifted program, only Black person in the class, and I said it because I was the only Black person in the class.
Cause she's
And
smart.
thank you, sissy. And we watched Rosewood and Roots.
In that class?
As a
Yes, girl.
child,
We also, this was in middle school.
that's still too early for Rosewood and Roots, though.
Yes.
We also watched it was a Miss Oswald class. So if anybody watching Miss Oswald, we also watched the verdict of O.J. Simpson. So it was
in middle school.
very in middle school. Yeah, girl.
That
Yeah,
happened that long ago.
Yeah. We still
Oh my
tender though. We still
gosh.
tender though.
Right.
And it was the most uncomfortable situation for me. It was so uncomfortable because they looking at me like, okay, first of all, OJ got off. So they're looking at me like I voted for him to get off. I did. And then also with Rosewood, I'm looking at them like, I wish y'all would. And I remember one time I had went to Sumner High School and I came back 10th grade year. I walked in the class and some girl was like, Brandy, make us laugh. And I was like, and I was the only Black person in there. And I was like, do I look like your clown? Do I look like I
Right.
shuck and die for you? Don't you ever come at a Black person like that again. But I say all that to say and to ask this question to y'all. Did the Black history that you learned back then, did it make you hate white people, or did it make you want to abuse white people, or did it make you want to attack white people?
No.
Mm-mm.
No.
Yes.
Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. There's 4 no's to 1 yes. And,
Right.
and remember that. Go ahead. Why? I'm sorry.
I say no too.
D. Did you learn? You didn't learn Black history, did you? Were you
Yes,
here
ma'am.
during that time? Okay. What did you
Yes,
learn? How did Black history work for you before you tell us why you said yes?
What was the question? I'm sorry. What was the original question?
Oh, how do you feel about your Black history education from when you were in middle school, high school, elementary?
So I came here in middle school.
Okay.
So
so you were like, what is
no, we had Black history in Jamaica too,
people?
because we talked about slavery. Yeah, well, we escaped slavery. Like we had Danny of the Maroons. We had Marcus Garvey, because that's who was known in Jamaica. Marcus Garvey.
So did y'all talk about American or what America's going through? Oh,
yeah, we
okay.
know about Martin Luther King. I learned more about Malcolm X when I first came to this country. But we knew about Marcus Garvey. We had Nanny of the Maroons. We had, because these were people that were like Jamaican freedom fighters.
Okay, so let's do some history though. Jamaicans were thugs. Not like Jamaicans weren't about that. They weren't about the captivity life. They said we gotta get rid of these people. So I feel like from my understanding, so I feel like their education was more focused on your freedom and how to keep that and how we got that, as opposed to America, where it was like, you guys were slaves, get over it, move on. So
there's racism in Jamaica too, because you have to understand the people who are in power in Jamaica are still white people, or even the lighter skinned ones. Those are the people who are in power in Jamaica. Which is technically now the country's mostly run by drug dealers, but we won't say that.
We already said it. She said it. Okay. So, right. Thank you for pointing that out. So you said yes, that it made you want that you said yes to what exactly?
I said no.
No, no, I mean, no problem. No problem. No
Say
problem.
that three times
Oh, okay.
fast. For me,
Okay, I said it.
yeah, for me, I think that if I'm honest, watching the movie Roots and Rosewood, if you can watch those even now and not feel violent towards white people, that scene where they kill Esther Roll, that'll make you, that'll make the next time you have a regular road rage incident want to slap somebody.
Right, but
Uh,
that's the movie though. She was asking about school, like how you was taught in school didn't make you not like white people. The
Right.
stuff that they taught you in school. Movies, yes, will definitely heighten an emotion, but what they taught you in school did that
I think,
stir up?
I think it did make me have a feeling towards Caucasian people. I don't know though. My mom was different too though. So I feel like I don't know if I can
I feel
properly
like
separate those emotions because it all came around at the same time.
I feel like the Black history they taught us here in school was very watered down because they didn't want to teach us about, the ones who were more violent.
The ones who
So
were more, but yeah, you
yeah,
strong-willed.
strong-willed, and didn't mind because who was it that said something like if you didn't shed blood, then you didn't really do anything?
Oh,
So
thug life.
I remember somebody saying that. I forgot what it is. But you're not really fighting if there was no bloodshed.
I dig it. I dig it. Um, Having watched Rosewood in school, it did make me look at white people in a different light. Because and it was in part because of the movie, but it was more so because nobody stood up and was like, "Did this really happen to them?" Like, I can't believe this is what happened to them. But with the OJ Simpson trial, they got every word they want to say. Like, this is they're oh, he should have been this or he should have done this, and I can't believe you all would want him to get off. And I'm like, you all, I'm friggin' what? I had no vote in it. I wasn't on the jury. Of course, I wanted him to get off, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. So I did feel some kind of way, but that's because I watched that movie in class. But the Black history that we learned, I remember learning Black history in elementary school, but the Black history that we learned, it didn't make me feel like white people were trash or all white people are the devil or any of that. So I say that to say they're changing the educational structure in Florida where they're saying slavery benefited slaves because they basically don't want the white children to feel attacked or feel guilty for what
They don't want them to have white guilt.
right for what they have been benefiting from for centuries.
So, so with this benefiting thing for slavery, how do they think the black children are going to feel? Because when I
Oh,
was
oh,
listening to
they
all of
don't
the
care.
slavery stuff back in the day, I felt sad for our ancestors and all the things that they had to go through. I mean, it definitely was, a sad moment. But how do you think the black kids gonna feel talking about it was a benefit, and then they go home and their parents really tell them what really happened?
You're
Because
on mute.
we're gonna
That
definitely,
that's
You're on
assuming the
mute.
parent is going to do that because now it's
hopefully.
not so much. And I don't think that children these days will have a sense of, oh, look how they're doing us. Um, just the other day when I was in Georgia, the alarm was going off at the mall. And my cousin is telling me this story because I wasn't in that store with them. And the alarm is going off and somebody is stealing. And a little young black man, a teenager, he points at the only other black people in the store and say, they stealing. And there's not a sense of unity or don't put your brothers and sisters down. Like that's not a thing anymore. It's kind of very individualized. Like I wouldn't have done that. I wouldn't have picked the only black people in the store to do that to. You know what I'm saying? That's not something
Mhm.
I think our generation or above would do. So when they hear it, I think that they're more everything is like water off a duck's back these days.
I think Suella just proved the point why it could fly. She said when she heard it, it made her feel sad. But if you hear it that it benefit, you don't feel sad because you don't hear the raw truth. If you're told from a child you learn agriculture and this is why you were able to survive and this is what gave birth to the black people's great fondness of benefiting
Cooking.
from all vegetables and cooking and this that, and the other, you don't know it enough to be sad. The two things that happen, one is critical race theory doctrine, that they literally said we don't want white children to feel guilty, so we're going to take out the grotesque truth of slavery, and not only slavery, all the way up to Jim Crow. Let's act like that didn't happen. Second, we're going to reprogram white people and black people, children, to feel like this was beneficial. So pretty soon, I think this is really the precursor to not being able to benefit urban communities, because in a generation, if you can teach a generation that nothing happened, a generation from now, watch this, affirmative action is already, the Supreme Court struck it down this month. There will be no benefits for a minority or anything to equalize the playing field, because if it didn't happen, you don't know that you were ever off kilter. You know what I mean? I think it's bigger than that. I think they're trying to eliminate social programs, all these things, because why would a white politician who's 5 or 6 today, in 30 or 40 years, if he's been drilled that nothing happened to black people, why would he vote or introduce legislation to right something that it took 300 years to wrong? Because it didn't happen. And if it did happen, there's no need for a Band-Aid or anything like that.
And hopefully we don't go backwards, because if they're not teaching about slavery and they're talking about the benefits of slavery, then generations from now may end up back into that same situation because it was a benefit. Hopefully not, but I don't know. It's just these times, y'all just pray. You just
That's
say
a
pray
great
up.
point. That's a great point. Yeah, if you feel it was a benefit and enough people have been taught that,
Mm-hmm.
eventually they will say,
History
"Oh, we
repeat
can do
itself.
this again," after a certain group has passed away.
Mm-hmm.
That's a
Mm-hmm.
great point.
Have you guys seen Lovecraft Country?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I never heard of that.
I had to stop watching it. It was a little bit too much for me.
Well,
I never heard
I
of
mean, there was a lot of educational stuff in it, and that's what I was trying to grasp, because there's a lot of things I didn't know about. Like I didn't know about the whole what's it called? Sundown towns. I didn't know about those.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know about the Black Wall Street. I didn't know about that either, because that wasn't taught to us.
Didn't know about the Green Book.
Didn't know about that.
See, I knew all of those things, and I didn't even see those parts in the movie.
No, but I'm saying, but you see, like if you don't, but the
The
fact that there
majority
was a
probably don't know
prominent
about it.
black town,
Right.
there was a prominent town where black people were booming, and the fact that that is not even taught.
Well, now they can teach that. However, there's a caveat.
Will they
And I've
tell
never
about the
used
fact
this
that it
word
was
before.
completely
There
burnt
is a
down?
caveat that says that though Tulsa, Oklahoma was burnt down and bombed and black people were murdered, you also have to keep in mind that black people were violent too. Black people attacked people also. Not that they attacked people because they were being attacked, but that they were also attackers and they were also violent.
And you know, Tulsa is doing a rebuild Black Wall Street right now, where they're paying black business owners to move to that city, and they're giving them $10,000. They're moving them. They're giving them housing, and they're starting this community and diversifying as far as professions are concerned. So if you hold a certain profession that's not overly inundated already there, they're moving you there, and they've been doing that for a few years. I actually have a friend who is there, who is a part of it. All I have to do is fill out an application.
And that's scary. I mean, as black people, it's scary because white people are getting away with so much now that who's to say that they're not going to do that junk again, because they're going to get away with it. I do want to read this comment.
I think that's a stretch.
Comment, though. They need to send their kids to school with the following questions. 1, so does that mean the Jews benefited from the Holocaust? 2, and the Native Americans benefit from losing their land? And 3, the Asians benefited from the concentration camps during World War II. 4, oh, and the European Americans benefited from coming in the hood and getting beat up.
Mm.
I'm not mad at that at all.
Me neither.
I
Yeah,
think
but we know that's not going to happen. I think
Of course
that
not.
yeah, there's things that those certain communities have done to ensure that that doesn't happen. So I mean, we haven't taken proper steps for that. So that's why we're here.
The
I think
problem is that we can't all come together. That's the problem.
That's the
the,
Is
biggest
that there's no
problem.
unity.
the answer is doing like your mom did. Even if it's on a Saturday, if we're not at a place where we can control curriculum through private schools and charter schools and alternative schools, we have to educate young people on the real and not allow it to get lost. I don't think information is going to get lost because the internet, unless they start censoring the internet, and I don't think that'll happen in America. But I think that if it's enough information out there, if teachers will come and go, it's not my responsibility, or excuse me, it's not the teacher's responsibility at this point to teach my children Black history. I'm Black. I know the history. It's my responsibility. It won't be lost on my children because I'll teach it.
Someone commented those communities educate their own. We don't. I
That
can't. For the most part, I'm gonna agree with that. I can't agree with that for my household, but I can definitely see that. But why don't we educate our own? Why don't we educate our children?
because Black people focus on getting out of the hood, getting out of urban communities, and when they get to these communities, they shop at the stores, they go to their Starbuckses, they assimilate to their culture, and they don't reach back. Black people have a bad habit of attributing success with losing their culture.
No, I don't think so. I think one, you don't a lot of people don't know their own history. You can't teach something you don't know. A lot of people or some people don't think that it's relevant today. A lot of people don't see that if I educate my child on this, they're going to have a sense of pride that they wouldn't have otherwise. Knowing your history, knowing the struggles and the advances gives you a sense of pride that not knowing cannot provide. So I think that if someone I feel like it's just they're more focused on other things, and I feel like there's a void somewhere in Black America that the whole thing about buying, certain brands just so you can wear them and it makes you feel better about yourself. It's putting things on the outside to make you feel better about yourself on the inside. The focus is not where it should be in a lot of
Call it
families.
what it is. Let's call it what it is. Black America, black people as a whole don't give a damn. Okay? We're kind of dancing around the topic. We don't care. We try to make the
Right.
responsibility fall on everybody else except for our own self. If you want to know black history, go pick up a damn book. It's not that hard. Go find it out for yourself. If you want to know the lyrics to all your rap songs, you're gonna go and Google it, and you're gonna know all the lyrics. You're gonna know the dance moves. You're gonna know what shoe coming out. You're gonna know how long somebody's extension is. You're gonna know all that. But the stuff that is important, the stuff that matters, you don't go seek it. Those other communities do. That's why they far ahead of us. That's why they will always be far ahead of us. We put our own, we don't put our own education in our own hands. They do. They
Right.
go seek the information. And then we find everything to blame it on except for our own selves. It's simple. If you want the information, go find it. Someone said if you want to keep black people uneducated, put it in a book.
Yes, that is definitely what's said. Do you think the parents should
Put
have
it in a
anything
book.
also? I mean,
Oh, of course.
I
Of
mean, granted,
course.
education, they do not have in schools anymore. In schools in Florida, you don't get those books. Those books are gone, right? However, do you feel like the library? I mean, next up is
You
the
can
library,
find it.
the public library system. You can, but how much harder is it going to be for kids in Florida and soon to be every other state?
Not hard at all.
Right.
Anything you want to find, you can find it. is right there. The information is right in front of you. It's up to you to decide if you want to seek it out. But the problem is they don't want to seek it out. They want to seek everything out, everything else, but what will be beneficial to them. We just call it what it is. You know, we dance around the topic so much, but anything that's going on in the black community is our own fault. It ain't nobody else's fault. And they could take away whatever they want, but you give them the power. At the end of the day, you have your own power. If you let someone else come in and take what is rightfully yours, then you're submitting your power to them.
I
I
We
mean,
think
all
that's a
have our
strong
own power.
statement. I
and even if
think
you
that's
let
a
them take
strong
it the
statement
first
to
time,
say anything. I think that there are certain things outside of our control. We do not own media. We do not have those things. If you're told something enough times, you become that. That's how all stereotypes were formed. There was no such thing as the brute, the mammy, the pickaninny. All of those things were fed to these people, and over time they became that. So certain things, even though we can take education into our own hands, and I do believe that we should, it is certain hurdles are always going to be there to jump. We do not own any institutional thing. We don't own the banking system. None of those things. That's always going to be a hurdle to jump. So I believe
What's
I
Black
agree.
Twitter?
I'm sorry.
What's Black Twitter?
That's
Isn't that a type of media?
that's it's not even
What's
taking
a
that
what's a
seriously
black
enough.
what?
Black Twitter.
What's Black Twitter? What's Black Twitter?
Who owns Black
Isn't
Twitter?
that some? Isn't that a type of medium?
Who owns Black Twitter?
No. uh,
Hello?
right? So,
Who owns
Twitter
Yeah.
it?
owns
Well, you said
The moment they want to shut it down, they shutting it down.
okay,
We don't own that.
but is it shut?
So
Is it shut down though?
no, but we don't. There's still. You made a strong statement by saying anything that happens in the black community is our fault. That's not. That's too strong of a statement for me. I agree with the education. I agree with certain things. Eating healthy. I agree with certain things. Not buying excessively or buying black. That we can control, but everything, no, we cannot.
but to say that we don't own anything, I agree with ST3. To say that we don't own anything is not correct either. We do have historical black colleges and universities. We can purchase land, and instead of buying in places that exist, that there are more things black people can do to take accountability for their plight in
No,
America.
I didn't mean we don't
okay.
own
HBC.
anything. I didn't
Well,
mean
hold
anything.
on. I get,
What
oh my,
HBCUs are publicly owned; those aren't private institutions. So
Right.
There's some
technically, we don't
there are
own those.
BCU is a
Secondly, we
private
do.
BCU is a private institution. It's not
Okay,
publicly.
one name. You said HBCUs.
No,
There are
BCU
more
is a
than there's
BCU
more
is a
than one HBCU.
right. No, I'm saying BCU is a privately owned HBCU, and there are many up in Jacksonville. Edward Waters is also a privately owned HBCU. They exist all over.
Right, but if the state that they're in says brings down a mandate, they have to follow it. So I mean, it is what it is. You can say
No,
it's privately owned, but if there's a law or a different mandate or regulations have changed, that falls down.
not in college. That's not how
One
college
thousand percent.
works.
I own my house, but now we have to register if you have a garden. I own my house, but I can't have an unregistered car parked in it. Yeah, we own a lot of stuff. I can't cut down trees without having a permit. Come on,
Right,
man. At the end
but
of the
right.
day, no.
I that's scary as a black man to hear you all say that though. Because if and I'm just
Right.
saying because you all are women, if a black man feels that there is nothing he can do about his plight in America, that means everyone here should be trying to raise money to move us to Jamaica, the Bahamas, or Africa.
Well, that's
Nobody's
what
saying that
Marcus
nobody
Garvey
can do
said,
anything
and I'm
about
not
their
saying that.
thing.
I
Yeah,
didn't
nobody's
say that.
saying that. And also, if something happens to us the first time, I don't think it's our fault. If something happens to us thereafter, I think it is our fault for continually letting it happen to us. But the first time, no. And true, private institutions are not controlled by the government because they don't get government dollars. However, and we own banks like Ready Bank. for example. We own banks, but if a majority of us aren't utilizing those things, then what benefit is it? If all Black people are using this one Ready Bank or Citizens Bank or whatever the banks are that are owned by Black people, if all Black people are putting their money into those institutions, then great. If all Black athletes are going to HBCUs, great. Then we can make some changes. Then we can have things happening for us, and then we really,
That
really have
part.
our own thing because they don't control us. We control the dollars, we control the education, and we control where these young people are going and how they're being utilized.
But check this out. So the whole talk about these institutions.
Let me
If you
interject
if
quick,
Hold on, hold on.
Well, I wanted to piggyback on something before we get too far away from where we was at.
Okay, go.
Now, I heard somebody say that everything Black people going through is their fault. Now, I'm really trying to really understand the context of that statement when that was positioned as such, like everything is our fault. What can you walk me through that, brother?
what exactly do you want to know?
Why'd you say the statement? What's the
Well, whose fault is it then? Whose fault is it then? If it's not our own fault.
You asking a question with a question. You make the statement, so you believe that it must be true. So I'm saying, what evidence? Why are you tell me why you say that? You can't just say, well, whose fault is it? I can say it's a lot of different people's fault, but you said it. You said that it's our fault. So I'm asking you, why do you believe that to be true?
Because we hold our own power. That's my answer.
And what
You hold your own powers to your own life at the end of the day. That's my answer.
So you saying where we at today is essentially is essentially the Black people fault, and nothing transpired that led to us coming up out of a specific deficit to where we are at today. Because when you start looking at the math and stuff like that, right, you start noticing that it's more Black women that's more educated than 20 years ago. It's more Black men that's more educated than 20 years ago. So when you start talking about it's our fault. I'm just trying to understand what specifically are you talking about?
Our fault as a race, as an entire race.
Yeah, I'm talking about as an entire race. That's why I said there's more
Yeah.
Black people, there's more Black women that are educated, that have degrees than any of our the majority of our parents. We actually make a lot more money than my parents. I made more than both. I made more than both of my parents combined. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people that's done that. So that's what I'm just trying to understand.
But
Like,
how does that help the race? How does that help further the race by you making more money than your parents?
you mean
What does that do to benefit? What does that do to benefit the entire race?
Well,
To
when we become more educated, right? When there's more Black people that's educated, and benefits the entire race, because those same Black people that are educated pass that education down to their kids, right? So therefore, there's a benefit in that. When I increase in more money, there's things that I can do for people within my community, people within my family who didn't necessarily have the means to get things done. Now I can use those funds to help them get those things done. So that's why. So what else you want to know?
Did you buy a home in your community so that the tax dollars go to benefit it?
I did not go buy a home in my old community, but that's not one of the reasons why is because I like staying in Alafel Woods. The second reason why, because I ain't want to be close to my mama. I'm straight.
And also, how him making more money does benefit the community as a whole. Because if we're making the same amount of money as our parents were making, we still be very behind. We'd be extra behind. But since we're making more money as a people, that means I don't know what everybody says. Money makes the world go round. Money makes things happen. Ask people on Capitol Hill what is it? What are the people that it's an L word. It's an L word. Lobbyists. Ask lobbyists. Money makes the world go round. So the more money we make, the more things we can change. Sure, we need to vote, of course. But if we have more money, we can buy more property. We can have more net worth, and we can use that money because we have excess to help our community. See, white people or whatever community you want to pick, they're not using money if they're in the bottom rung, they're not using that money to help their community. It's the wealthy people that are using their excess funds, their extra money that's helping the community. And when we get to a point where we have extra funds and extra money, then can we help our community.
It's not even it ain't even that. White people that's helping white people, it's not like they doing it for white people. They doing it for themselves. They not doing it to help the community. They doing it for their own pockets, for their own selfish reasons, right? So I don't even look at when they do stuff for each other. You know what I'm saying? I don't even look at that as like they helping each other out, because in their mind it's, I'm finna get this bread, and here come where the plug at. The plug right over here, and I'm finna go right to the plug, get the funds that I can, so I can help my family out. But I don't really necessarily care about them. You know what I'm saying? That's how I see that situation. But
Well, I think that's an
And
incorrect
I
statement to say because,
okay,
and the reason I say that because if they go and create jobs, right, and people in our community go and work those jobs, are they not benefiting as well? Just because they're not benefiting as equally as the person that created it, that means they're not benefiting too.
what?
wait, what?
Yeah, you heard me clear. You heard me clear.
I
No,
know.
say that again,
If,
because
okay,
I'm
let me
trying
phrase.
to
Let
understand the
me.
context of what you. I'm
If
trying. What the black people
okay,
got to do with what the statement that I just made?
you said that the white people, what they do is they're not benefiting other people when they are putting money out.
Other
They are
white
benefiting
people.
themselves.
I'm talking about other
Yes.
white people within their own community. I know a bunch of home developers who they don't care that they just trying to make a nice white community. They trying to make a nice fat bank account for they pockets.
I think that what the realist is saying, and I agree with it, that it's not an intentional, I'm helping my group of people. The intention is I'm increasing my wealth. And a byproduct of that is I am helping white people. I think that black people, we have this mindset is that I have to help my community and all, and that's great. I agree with that. But the way to really help is laws. The way that they help themselves when it comes to white people is laws. They make sure the law lines up with the lifestyle they want to live. Let's change the affirmative action. Let's do this. Let's do that. Make it easier for ourselves or harder for whomever, whatever the case may be. I think that black people in particular need to learn more about their law. They need to vote on the local levels and not just in the presidential election if we really want to see change. We need
So
judges,
true.
we need people who are in those right seats, and we have to come out of the complaining mindset. It doesn't matter whose fault it is. Like ST3 say, okay, let's move forward and let's make actual commitment and do an actual change in the right ways. It doesn't matter how much money I make. Oprah's a billionaire. We have several black billionaires, but the law still don't help us. And they give a lot of money back. LeBron, they send a lot of people through college, and that's great. That's helping the community. But if we want to help on a like in a global way or in a national way, it will be laws that need to be changed.
and that goes back to what D was saying, in that we don't have unity. We lack the unity to get those things voted in, or whatever the case may be. We're so divided on where one person stands and the other, that we are going to have a very, very hard time getting that stuff done.
And then also you mentioned something else that made me scratch my ear. You had said that other communities intentionally educate they children, while black, a lot of black families don't necessarily do that. Now while I don't disagree with the statement, I do need to point out that other communities. So when we start mentioning, like, I'm gonna be politically correct because I know Chubb watching, Asians,
Oh, stop.
you know, uh Latinos, you know,
Other ethnic
uh
groups. Uh-huh.
yeah, other ethnic groups who never went through the entire plight that we went through while we was here, and then they come over here and benefit from what we went through, and they don't have to actually, of course they can teach
In
their
the
kids,
fridge.
of course they can focus on education, because we done laid the blueprint for them.
You can't say that
Come
because
over here, they come over here thinking these things because they have the advantage to do so. While when it comes to us, for an example, it wasn't until the late, really, 19 or early 1900s when, you know, a lot of us was really trying to kind of go to college, and we thought it was kind of a big thing, but still we had laws against us even learning, right? You gotta think, and before the voting act, right, you had to figure out, you had to pass a test to see if you could read or not, right? So I'm saying we was already behind because our focus wasn't necessarily education. Our focus was survival. And even that is a form of education. So just because we had a different form of education, such as survival, does not mean that we wasn't being educated. Being educated to survive and live in an area where people is against you, that is the smartest thing you can do considering the environment. And so when I hear stuff like that, I notice it's in people make comments without necessarily mentioning that particular aspect of it, like as if, you know, our ancestor or my great grandma, right? And my, like, even what my daddy used to, you know, when he was telling me stories, like his daddy teaching him how to survive and not get killed, like that's his fault. That's black people fault. If we are on demise, because my granddaddy had to teach my daddy how to live and survive and be educated that way, because that was more important than getting a school education. How you not that?
Stetson, you were gonna say something. You said that's not. You said that's not true.
Well, you're saying that the way you phrase that is as almost as if these other races didn't have to endure some type of oppression or some type of slavery. Most of these Asians that come to this
I want to
country,
talk about America. I'm talking
well,
about.
if you see only, but then if we're going to only talk about America, then your whole idea is warped. We can't just stick in one area. We got to talk about the entire thing. So then, if we're going to only talk about America and talk about how
You
other
know how
countries and
many
other people,
Indians in India have no education? You know how many in comparison to the black people that don't have education in America? So if you really trying to draw a real comparison as it relates to that, you can go over and do the studies in India, how many people that aren't educated at all in comparison to the black people that don't have education in America. And it's a lot more of them that don't have education when it comes to that. So I'm only pointing that out to say, when you look at it in terms of numbers, in terms of black Americans that's educated, in terms of them, it almost equal out, the percentages almost equal out the same.
Okay, I'm gonna have to, you're on mute. I'm gonna have to say this. What I'm gonna have to agree with what Leroy the realist said, in that we did go through so that they would have an easier situation here. They have the option to come to America. We did not have the option to come to America. We weren't like, hey, you're going on a trip, I'm coming with you. And they use our strife, they're using the Civil Rights Act to get what they want. What we had to struggle to get, they're getting it just by default. So we definitely had to go through for them to get benefit, and they step on us to get even higher.
I don't think it was default. I think that to Stetson's point,
come on here, y'all, let me say something.
I think that as far as it being our issue, I don't think that they got it by default. I think that when black people were trying to advance their position, or at least just equalize it, we got sidetracked, and we're easily sidetracked. We're easily willing to join another group. We're easily saying, yeah, let's fight with the Native Americans. Let's focus on their plight now, instead of keeping the course and being tunnel vision like other people are. So I think that part is our fault. So I'll agree with Stetson on that. But I do feel like other ethnicities did benefit from a lot of the work that was done by our forefathers, for sure. A lot of the casualties of war, of race war, I would say, they did benefit from that. They have a blueprint, and they had somebody that was willing to say, yeah, join us, even though it ended up putting us even further back than those people we were trying to help.
But let me say, Ash, you see, I would agree to an extent about the black people, about us getting sidetracked. But us being sidetracked was intentional by the U.S. government. So it's like, when I hear these things, right, while I don't agree, we can't just say that without mentioning the fact that hey, Nixon had a whole campaign on how to destroy the black. The FBI had a whole campaign. We've been attacked the whole time. Even after we was free, people still put boundaries and barriers up to keep us in a particular mindset, in a particular set, to be a particular way. All these other people ain't have to go through all of that.
The realest way though, but my problem with this is when you look at any African American, and I don't know who I had this conversation with earlier. If we're honest, we made strides in the late 60s and the late 70s and the early 80s in African American culture. If you go back historically, more homeowners were black, or black people bought homes. We gave up our strides that we gained in the 70s through the crack epidemic, and that's the real reason that African Americans are in the plight they're in now in a lot of places. I don't disagree.
Hold on. Let him finish.
And I know the argument is that white folks flooded the neighborhood with crack, but I have never met a black person who said to me that a white person came to them, put a gun to their head, and made them smoke crack. So I think that although I do agree that we were highly none. Don't do it. Although I do agree.
No, I agree with you.
Right. Although I do agree that we were at a disadvantage, I think we have to be honest. And I say this to everyone. As someone who's been incarcerated, literally every black person that had the ability to go to public school in the state of Florida, even if they didn't have the best books, teachers did not fail us but you can make it in this country. You could make it. You went to school. You went to high school. Nobody put guns in your hands. Nobody told you. If you had to work harder.
You lost me on education.
And I used to be a teacher.
Because black boys.
Wait. Are you? Wait, hold on. Wait, let me finish. I've been quiet a long time. Are you all suggesting that it's possible that you all answered that DC was the capital of the country, 1 + 1 = 2, and your teacher marked that wrong and you failed as a result of it?
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not even attacking the education system to say was the schools failed us, right? But to your point, to your statement about defending on how these particular people flooded the community with drugs. My thing is what would have been the results had they not done it? Ain't nobody got to put a gun.
I ain't never seen a white drug dealer.
Hold on. We can talk about the premise of what happened when it was done.
I've never seen a white drug dealer in my neighborhood.
Just because you ain't know, just because you ain't know, listen, y'all missing the point. I'm not saying that the black people who sold drugs is not responsible for their own actions.
The ones who did it are responsible.
But who do they get their drugs from?
It's not even that. What you talking about is irrelevant because at the end of the day, had the CIA not given them
oh my goodness.
We would have
been. You glistening over there.
We would have been in a whole.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, let me say something about the educational system. Okay,
so my goodness.
You're right on the educational system. Y'all want to say that we were not held down. We were not held back. As a former teacher and as someone that actually graded tests for teachers, if it was a black person and they got an 89.4. That was not rolled up to an A. And this seems minor to y'all, but it's not. This is how a lot of valedictorians are made. When it came to the white students, they did get that bump up to an A. It increased their GPA. It bettered their chances of getting to college. Teachers wrote letters for students that they did not even know if they did community service or not. So,
but here's the thing.
Would hinder black Black students,
let me
and they also promoted Black students who could not read. I know a lot of
so
people,
let,
the Boys and Girls Club,
let,
and a lot of them jokers could not read, and I'm not blaming it on teachers. It's also the parents' fault because the parents should have been paying attention to what their kids are doing. However, I send my child to school to be educated, to be further educated. So they are
well,
passing us without the
here,
educational knowledge that we need, and they are stunting our academic level. I guess I could say,
well,
which
here's
should
the
be.
thing, Brandy. Here's the thing, Brandy. You know, and I'm a bit of a perfectionist by heart. So if I ever got a bad grade, and my parents, I'm not Black American, I'm actually Haitian American. So if I brought back
You don't
a
even
grade that
count.
wasn't,
Come
You
through.
don't even count. You don't
He
even
does
I don't even
count.
count.
You don't even
I don't even
count.
count.
He
You
does
I
don't
count.
even
count. He
count.
does count.
I
He
don't even
does
count.
count. He's not Haitian. He's
I don't
Haitian
even
American.
count.
How does that not count?
I don't even
Oh,
count. You see, and that's what. And wait. Let me just say that.
No.
That's the problem. That's the problem with the Black community today.
No,
Because
no,
you
don't
guys,
say that,
that is a problem. That is the problem with the
I
Black
said you
community
were
today. Because
count.
when we try to ally with you guys, then it's like we don't even count. So okay then. All right. Well, I don't count then. All right. I'll just
I
leave you
said
guys to yourself. But let
I
me say this. Let me say this because I need to get to my point that I was trying to make. When I brought home a less than sufficient grade, what I did was I went back and tried to figure out why my grade wasn't sufficient, and I tried to bring it up myself. I didn't blame the teacher for not rolling my grade up. I went and tried to be better. That's what I did. Why can't we do that? Why can't we take accountability and say, you know what? I got an 89.4. Next time, I'm going to get a 90. And I'm going to give them no reason not to give me a 90. Why am I going to owe the CIA, the FBI, the FBI, and all these other people holding me back? Why can't you get to take accountability for your own actions and do
Bro,
better?
bro,
That's the
okay.
problem with doing
no.
that.
The
No,
point
I
I was
think that
making
you
about
want
the
to say something?
FBI and the CIA was not the fact that it was that they're holding us back now. I was only mentioning that to say that, hey, where we started from, even when we got free, that there are organizations and people in place that tend to want to have the intentions to keep us down. So we are working at a disadvantage, regardless of whether you want to
I
admit it or
think
not,
I think
right?
that one Stetson, I believe that you count. I think that the experience is the same.
Right.
They are not
Very
asking you,
much.
are you Haitian, Jamaican? Your experience is the same. We all look alike. So 1000% you count. And I want to say that. I do not
Okay.
think that that's the entire Black community that is the realest position. Secondly, I applaud I got an 89.4. Let me go back. I think to Brandy's point is that there's a leg up given. Not that we're failing or we need to have accountability and do better. We should do better. But even in us doing our best, there's still a leg up given to certain people in
Can
life. I
I
think that was her point. So
can I
I think
piggyback off that?
hold up. Yeah, sure. But I think that we should definitely take accountability, and I think that that speaks to your parents who put that in you, and I think that that goes back to parents have to do their part, and we should be encouraging our children. Hey, what did you miss? Let's review those things, and then it will become second nature for them to do it outside of their parents nudging them. So I apply all of that what you're doing, and definitely you count in my book.
And so to piggyback off of that,
You count for
it
me too,
Welcome.
ST.
Hey, Sharon.
Oh, go
to
ahead.
piggy to piggyback off of that, and to piggyback off of both of your points, none and ST3. The problem is when it comes to whites, they support each other and they come together and they support each other. And when it comes to the Black community, they are so divided. And I'm not gonna say that any of us are better than it, but if you notice, like the Asian people, they don't mind doing communal living. They don't mind doing what they have to do to come together. But when it comes to the Black community, they're very fractured. They're like, I need my space. We're gonna be
I
talking
don't
to
think
each other.
that white people
Dr.
work
Dr.
together and
Jackson,
Black people don't.
yeah,
I think
No,
that
but they
white people
support
have a
each other.
common goal. No, I think that white people have a common goal to remain at a certain level. So it's not we're
that's
working
it.
together. We're working maybe together to keep these people down. But
That's
I'm
it.
not working with you to
I
stay
agree.
up. Is I'm working with you to break their legs and so we can win this race and then cheer as if we won it on our own merits.
But
What
can you
what I
agree
think what I think
that Black community are fractured and that they're very separated?
I agree with that
No, no, I
to a
don't agree
certain
with that
extent.
though. I don't agree with that though. I
At
think
all.
what I think. Um, Hello everyone. Good evening. This is great. Y'all had me on my. Oh, I had to come on. I had to log in. Dr. Jackson, to your thing, I think that what is missing is that Black folk don't have a strategy to get to the other side or to get to the other thing. So there,
Good point.
we have. I mean, clearly we have huge movements behind us. We have I buy everything Black. We have I support Black no matter what. Black is Black, right? But
You do,
what we
but
don't
everybody
what
doesn't.
what we don't do really well is have a strategy behind why those things happen. And so other cultures actually have a winning strategy, and they're, instead of being reactionary, which a lot of the Black community is, they are actually proactive. And that's the thing. And that's what separates
And
the what's happening, that's what separates the culture from actually being progressing in the way that it needs to.
Is that Chev? That
I think that yeah, Chef.
Chef,
I
it's
think
Chef.
that we don't have
Chef,
a
are you in?
strategy because we don't understand the benefits of having a strategy. If a select few started buying Black, we can bring up the economic status for a lot of people. We don't understand the benefits of doing it. It is a one man journey, and it's been
We're
that
saying the
way.
same thing.
Right. No, I said I
He's
agree with you.
agreeing with
Yeah.
you.
No, I'm agreeing with you.
yeah,
When I took African American humanities course in college, the professor, which is a Black man, he talked about a song that came out saying, I'm a coon, you're a coon, we're all a coon, sang by a Black man. And his mindset, even though the people were telling him, you're bringing us down, his mindset was, no, I'm bringing you down, but my family is increasing in our wealth. I think a lot of Black people have that mindset because we don't understand the benefits of being united, even if we're uncomfortable for a certain amount of time.
there's
Wait
no
a minute.
common
So
goal.
being
There,
united,
there, there, there's no common goal.
no
You know,
common
okay,
goal.
so since I don't belong, I'm gonna talk about my community and
Oh,
my
stop
Okay,
culture.
it.
one person
Stop it.
said
Stop it.
Listen,
one
hey,
Stop it.
person
listen,
Stop
said
it.
listen,
that. Let's
Stop
go
it.
listen.
ahead.
Hey,
Stop
hey,
it.
listen.
Stop it.
Let
Hold
me
on.
have it. Let me go. Let me go.
Okay, have
Let
that,
me
and then
go. Come
Sharon,
on,
you're up.
guys.
That's
Come
too
on,
much.
come on,
Also,
come on. Let me go.
hold on. Hold on.
Let me
Hold
let me
on,
talk
brother.
about my culture.
Let me
Let me
Go
talk
Can I
about
apologize.
my
pass it?
culture.
Can I pass it to you
I
after
want to
saying
say this.
this?
I want to say this
Can I
live
pass
on the
it?
podcast.
Can I pass it to you
I
after saying this?
Hold
apologize.
on.
Let me apologize real quick, yeah, because I was
You don't
wrong.
gotta apologize, man.
I,
You don't
I
gotta apologize. You're good, man. You're
oh
good.
no, I know I don't got to, but that's why I'm doing it because I want to. So I do want to take the time out to apologize to you because when you get pulled over, it ain't like they looking at it and saying whether you hate.
No, not at all.
Right. So and I reacted in an incorrect way, and I want to apologize to you, brother, because
All
at the
good,
end of
man.
the day, I know if something transpired, it seemed like you're gonna be one of the ones I can count on that's gonna be walking hand in hand with me. So I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, and in front of everybody, man, I do apologize for that, for real.
Hey, man, it's nothing, man. This is the part of the debate. It's gonna
Yeah,
get heated and things are gonna
yeah.
get said. That's just all it is.
I just
But
want to
I want to
apologize.
just, yeah, well, I appreciate it, the realist. I want to just talk about my culture. On our flag, on the Haitian flag, it says La Union fait la force. And that's what that stands for is unity makes strength. There's a common goal there. Okay. So no matter what, and I'm sure you guys all know there's a bunch of different things going on in Haiti right now. But at the end of the day, no matter what, they're gonna always unite together in force, right? So if that means going through and burning shit down, cutting people's heads off, whatever the case may be, as crazy as they can get sometimes, but they're going to do that in unity. And that's exactly what happened when we fought for our revolution. We got together, we banded together and united for a common goal. The common goal was we don't want to be enslaved by the French anymore. We're going to band together and we're going to beat the French down. And that's what we did. The problem is there is no common goal in the Black community. There is several different goals. There are several different goals amongst other people, but it's not common. And we could talk all we want about it. The closest I would say, the few times we've got to common goals with one another was Dr. Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Garvey, um, to name a few. Those are the times where I would. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
We
Oh,
just
okay,
don't
okay.
agree.
No,
But we hear you.
Oh, you don't agree? Okay,
Yeah,
well, that's
yeah.
from my perspective. Those are the few times I would say that there was a common goal where multiple and where the community came together and banded together to try to fight for something. And whether you agree or not, uh, what did Martin Luther King did? I mean, whether it was beneficial or not, that's besides the question. But did he not get change?
I'm a Malcolm X kind of girl. Sharon,
I
welcome to
mean,
the
I'm a
live. Welcome
Malcolm
to
X
the
person,
live.
but
Go
Do
ahead.
you
Tell
do
us
you
how
think?
you. Hold on.
Oh, my bad. I was
Sharon,
gonna
go
ask
ahead.
you about the
Welcome. Go ahead and tell
BLM
us how.
movement.
Come back. Sharon, what's up? Talk
don't
to
ask
us.
me about that.
So, at first, I want to say I commend all of you guys because I love to see the positivity and the respectful debate and the lack of ignorance. But I also want to just say that I cannot see any of y'all names because I'm almost 50 and I need glasses. But my brother from Haiti, I heard exactly what you were saying. My children are the reason I can appreciate all cultures because they grew up with so many different cultures. But I did grow up in America. And do you know that I didn't know how to properly study until I went to college? Because we were suppressed and we were looked at as different. They didn't want us to learn. They didn't even want us to read. I graduated with people who didn't even know how to read. That wasn't because it was their mom or their dad fault. It was because that's what life was given. That was the neighborhood they were put in, the teachers they went to school with. And as Brandy was saying, those teachers didn't care anything about them. So I'm saying that from a woman who is educated, who makes six figures, who I have been there and done that. So yes, it is a real problem. And when you come from a different country here, it's easy to just say Black Americans. And I say that because I'm married to a Jamaican. His mother is from Trinidad. His father's from Jamaica. They look at us as Black Americans. They don't look at us as their community. And so it's really easy to say those things about what we do or what we don't. But if you were not raised here, you don't know. The second thing I wanted to say is I grew up in the hood. That's my hood. When I grew up, I left. I came back. I brought my family back. I put my dollars into my neighborhood. That did not work out for me. My children were traumatized there. And I hate that they had that experience. But what I had to realize was I couldn't stay in my hood. And so I know people talk about putting your dollars and staying and buying a home in the community. That didn't work for me. But from where I sit, I can still put my dollars into what I call my people. I make sure we buy Black in this house. We support Black. My children are pro-Black. They understand the Black dollar and how important it is to make sure that you spending your money, that you see who owns that company before you spend it. So we can still love and support each other from a distance. Everybody don't have to stay in the neighborhood to support the neighborhood, but it's important that your children understand that you can still love from a distance and understand who your people are. Your people are not people from Haiti or people look like you. Your people are who gets you. I'm an introvert. You'll never know it to look at me. I'm a little quirky. I'm a little goofy. And anybody who gets me is my people. That could be anybody.
And let
That
me
was my
say
spiel.
also that kids that you graduated with that didn't know how to read is probably because their parents didn't know how to read and their parents didn't know how to read. So they couldn't teach their kids how to read. They had to
Right.
learn that in school. And also to go on that, I did a report or a paper, whatever you want to call it, in college. And I asked older black people, did they prefer segregation or desegregation? And all of them said segregation because teachers actually taught them what they needed to know. The teacher actually invested in them when they were younger. And then when the schools got desegregated, it was like they felt they didn't, it wasn't that they felt like they weren't being educated. They were not being educated. They were being pushed off to the side and were not being focused on or given the support that they needed like they were in segregated schools. Okay. Ash, none.
Okay, I want to say to Stetson's point about no common goal. I agree with that, but I do feel like at the times that we do have a common goal, we let up once we get a little bit of what we want.
Facts.
Once it's like,
Facts.
oh, okay, we got a little advanced. Now we're done. Instead of following through all the way
Facts.
until you got exactly what you want.
BLM movement.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
I knew Chubb was gonna say something.
Yeah, no.
It's one of those take what we got. Let's just take what we got. Let's just go with what we
I,
get.
I disagree with that because we also have to understand what our positional power is and our institutional power. And so at the end of the day, it's not giving up just because we got something. It's perhaps pivoting differently because now we have to use a different strategy to it. I and this is I'm not coming from a personal opinion. I'm coming from a data being in the work opinion. So that, or not even opinion, fact. Like that's what it is. And so I I I don't think it's because, and I'm not quite sure, Ashley, what specifics you're talking about. So I can also, I'll say that up front. But when I think it comes to advancing Black communities, particularly in the state of Florida, that is not the reality.
I think that, yeah, I think what you're speaking to is today. And I know your organization is very strategy based. I think today, yes, I'm talking about certain things that were fought for before us, that our parents and grandparents were fighting for. It became, oh, we got a little bit, so we're good now. We're on a more of an equal footing, but we're not. And I remember my mom, she headed the diversity inclusion for her company that she used to work for. And one of the things that her study said when I was in the eighth grade is that by the year of 2023, Hispanics, okay, the Hispanics will have triple and African Americans will have double, and we will be the majorities. And I remember shortly thereafter, a lot of our signage was now placed in Spanish and in English. I think that making someone comfortable also is a form of suppression, because now there's no need to fight. And I think a lot of those things were done for Black people. Let's give them a little bit to ease the fight or to slow it down.
Well, can I ask you a question real quick? Do you think that because like, let's just say uh the rights that we fought for to get civil rights, right? Once we got there, was there not a plan after that to get more? And that's why the fight kind of stopped, because okay, the goal was to get X. We got X. Now, what do we do now?
The goal was
Muted.
the goal of the civil rights, um, the goal of the civil rights movement was not to necessarily get a product, right? The goal of the civil rights movement was to start a cultural revolution and a conversation to continue an avalanche of things needed to address at that time equality in the country.
In certain
So
institutions, right?
yeah, so I don't think it was Rosa Parks wanted to sit in the front of the bus, and we got that, and boom, we stopped marching, or we stopped our need for being seen equals on the bus. It was more so Rosa Parks sat in the front of the bus because she is human. She uh, pays the same taxes as everyone else. She bleeds red just like other humans, and should be seen for her humanity and her values from that as well. And so this
Oh
is like
no,
a far this is a far bigger conversation,
no,
but
no,
I do
chill. I'm
think
not saying that Rosa Parks sat on the bus because
I
that
understand
that's
what you're
not
saying. Yeah,
okay.
I understand what you're saying. I just want to be clear for others who may be listening in, that it is not a tit for tat. It is not a, here are the things that there is not a list of things. It is a recurring conversation, and it's a recurring movement of things needed to be addressed, rather than here's an item that we are trying to take.
So it's
And
a moving,
Well,
it's a moving situation. It's not stagnant. It's not point by point by point. It's ongoing. It's fluctuating. It's ebb and flowing.
right, but
how about she just
so much
go ahead?
so
Oh,
so much so that historically, if you read that, to Chef's point, Martin Luther King wasn't really a threat to where he had to be removed, as long as people were using the same water fountain and bathrooms, because that was just the beginning. But when he started the Poor People's Campaign, and you talk about completely turning socioeconomic dynamics upside down, even that, there were some white people when Martin Luther King started dealing with unions and truck drivers and even poor white people who were saying, let's channel his success with bathrooms, buses, and things of that nature to fair pay, fair insurance practices, that's when they said he's got to die. But I think to that same point, Black people, our people, literally have to admit that when we come together, when we are accountable for our own homes, change can happen. I think
Change will happen.
Yeah, I
I
think
agree.
Stetson's point was very, very.
Stelson.
Yes,
Sorry.
yes, yeah. I'm sorry. His point was very akin to what we say in Christian homes. A lot of Christians believe that when prayer was taken out of their homes, that's the reason that schools went crazy, or when prayer was taken out of school, that's the reason schools went crazy. But it was never taken out of your home. The same thing with Black
Come on
America.
now.
There is something powerful about the ability for Black Americans, because we know the fear and the anguish of being second class. We can't stop fighting, even if it's only in our home or in our circles. I do believe that responsibility, no matter what they put against us, is still our responsibility to fight. If that means I got to stay up later when my child come home from soccer practice to teach him this, another, that's still something that we can accomplish, even if the institutions don't give it to us.
Yeah, but the prayer taking out the school thing, Gerard. Even though you can have prayer at home, that's assuming that everybody in the school was a believer, right? That's the first thing that assumes. So you got when you start, because it could be the reason why I'm saying that, just because it was taken out of just because prayer was still in the home doesn't mean that the had they still been praying, the results would be different, right? I think that
That was Stefan.
I think that prayer. I think that.
Go ahead.
I think that prayer inside. Inside of the school. What it actually did was it did hold a level of morality for everybody, right? So the absence of that morality, actually, I think was the bigger issue, right? So that that's just my thought on that.
Oh, y'all don't want to go into that conversation. Y'all don't want to go there.
They haven't changed God, one nation under God.
Y'all don't want to go there. Y'all don't want to go into that one, because that, if we, and I'm gonna piggyback off what Rob said.
No, say what you need to say, because I feel like we're about to go the same way.
Well, I'm gonna piggyback off what Rob said about just the Christian values, and a lot of what I think is rooted in that. The whole idea of power and you having your own power is strictly rooted in that. Because what does it say in the Bible? What does it say there?
In what part? You tell us, because we don't know. It's
Now, this says a lot, but what is the about your power? What does it say that? Where do you get your power from? Where do you get your power from?
The Lord.
You get it from God. So, and who should you not fear? But who? You should fear no man but God. Right? Isn't it say that in the good book? So why are we blaming other people for a power that I'm not gonna say someone, an entity gave to us and said, this is your power. You have your right to choose. You have the right to choose whatever you want in this life. I give you the free will to do that.
I thought we were going to go the same way. We were not. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'm out.
It's emotion that we have.
I've never seen someone's eyebrows stretch as high as Chef's
But and there's a difference between power and authority. So we might have the power.
Tell the people the name of your church. That's good.
Right. I'll just end it right there. I think everybody got where I was going.
Yeah, don't say nothing else, missionary. That was good.
Chef, you want to say something?
No, I thought where we were going to go.
Dr. Jackson,
I thought ST3. I thought where we were going to go with that was, because there was earlier in the conversation things being systemic, particularly around white culture. Now, I will say Christianity today has been a stem of European culture, and which is a form of white culture, which is what we're doing even in the Black churches. And I thought that's where we were going with that. And so it sounded as if we were going to do a pick and choose type battle.
Christianity didn't come from Europeans, and it's not.
I didn't say that. Did I say Christianity?
Ashley, did I say?
I know you
Did
said
I
it's
say
systemic. I
Christianity
didn't
came
say.
from
I
Europeans?
didn't. You didn't let me finish my sentence, sir. I
Okay.
didn't say you said that. I didn't say that.
Okay. What are you saying?
I'm saying that even now, and I'm gonna go back to ST3. That it doesn't matter the foothold that Europeans have in Christianity today. It is still our responsibility to hold on to what we know is true. It doesn't
That is not my
matter.
point. Actually,
I didn't say that was your point. I'm saying
my
that was
point.
my comment.
It kind of is my point, actually. Thank you for that. You actually kind of proved my.
Stop.
You actually kind of proved my point that we're still holding on to values that are not actually our own, even in religious settings. And
Okay, I agree with that.
this goes far beyond the religion sort of thing. But I'm just stating that's where I thought he was going to go. I didn't think that's where you were going to go, ST3. So I had to
Well,
take my Shark Tank offer back after that one.
well, so what should our values be? If we're holding on to values that you believe we should not be holding on to, then what should the values be?
I personally believe, and I also every day fight for, that values should be freedom and liberation and equity. Those are my three values that I believe for Black folk in this country, and not just Black folk in this country, Black folk worldwide, because of the stronghold that the U.S. has on the Black culture, it is now worldwide, right? And so I do think it is a global revolution that needs to exist. But right now, in this particular moment, I believe, again, freedom, liberation, and equity are the things that are our values that we need to hold on to.
I believe self-worth. We
What
need to talk about that. Increasing self-worth and feeling valuable in society. And even back to the African American Humanities course, the professor said the white man under the bridge will turn his nose up at the at the Black man driving by in the Mercedes. He will still feel he's better, even though he's homeless under a bridge.
I mean,
And Black people have bought into that mindset, and we will think he's better. He said, you have to change the way that you look at yourself, and however you need to do that, and realize that there is no one race over the other. I think Black people have a lack of self-worth, and that's why we buy things that are ridiculous. That's why we eat things that are ridiculous. That's why we do things that are ridiculous, because we don't know our value.
I think though, even that, to say that a Black person, we're the problem. We have to be okay with being uncomfortable, because the truth of the matter is, if Black people want a global revolution like we say we do, they're not going to let us do it in their institutions, on their jobs, in their neighborhoods. Literally, when the BLM movement was at its height, the governor came out with a anti-protesting bill, and guess what? You Negroes have not gathered since then. We are not going to be able. We are not going to be able to unless we give up some comforts. But what I know about even the Black people I know who are woke Black people, in certain settings, whether it's professional, whether they're networking, they have to remind themselves not to come off as too Black. You know what I mean? And because they want to be in those circles, they do remind themselves, hey, I'm woke, but I can't be too Black. But there may come a time where our income has to be affected. We may have to live together. We may have to dial back from where we shop and what we buy and what we do in order to be uncomfortable enough to be something different. And I'll say this and I'm finished. Fidel Castro, before he overthrew Cuba, had to go live in the woods and rally the troops to come back to overthrow. We don't want to do that part. We think we can do it from conversations like this, but there's real work and strategy if Black people are going to really do a global revolution. It ain't coming because Chev got on a neon green cap.
Yeah, but with your statement
let
there,
me say something to that real quick. And also, we may have to get uncomfortable by spending more money, because I know people are like, oh, this Black company, they cost too much. Be the same one shopping at Publix when there's a Walmart down the street. So we may have to get uncomfortable that
which
way.
is white owned still.
Support Black.
which is still wait, what do you mean the Walmart down the street? You're
So
saying
people
that's
are
black
saying that black
dollars?
companies, black people are like, oh, they cost too much, or y'all cost too much for me to go to whatever. Let's say it's getting your nails done. Oh, you cost too much. I can't afford you. This, that, and the third. But you're the same person that's still shopping at Publix when Walmart is down the street and they cost less. So you'll spend your money in one place, but you won't spend your money in another place. You won't. What is the word I'm looking for? You won't get uncomfortable enough to go to Walmart, but you'll get uncomfortable enough not to spend your money at a black-owned establishment. Is basically what I'm saying.
Oh, I understand.
Yeah.
I think I want to piggyback off of what Pastor said, and and I would agree to a certain
The
extent.
church you go to too.
I would agree to a certain extent that we have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, but we also have to realize that it's not always saying I'm going to be all black everything in this mission and in this moment. We also have to understand how to speak the language, speak the strategy, and execute the strategy of what the majority of society is as well. So to the folks who say, I think my example of that is to the folks who say, well, I'm going to shop here or be in community with these folks here, is for us to win, for us to get to where we really need to be, it has to be multiracial and multi-generational. And it cannot be just statistics wise. And I remember going to a statistics course a couple of times with Brandy when she was in college, and statistics taught me that that you need numbers to win, and statistically we don't have that if we just stick with our group. And so therefore we have to build out a multi-generational, multiracial strategy to accomplish that, and to accomplish all these things that we're speaking of. And I wanted to be clear on that.
I agree. We definitely need other cultures to rally with us. Just like other cultures come grab us to rally with them.
But I think to Rob's point that as far as changing and watering down our blackness, I think that happens all the time in professional settings. You can still speak correct English and keep your same tone. You don't have to change your tone and soften your voice and drag your words out. And you're saying the exact same thing. You don't have to do that. And I think a lot of black people, and I read somewhere that black people will make themselves uncomfortable in order to make white people comfortable. We can hear that our voice has
Ooh,
changed when we
that's
got in
good.
Daddy
the
said that
we
to
can
me.
hear that, but we're willing to compromise who we are to make everybody else feel comfortable. And I see that a lot with black males in professional settings. Black males will tone down their masculinity, and
Ooh,
they will become more, they have to be softer. And I mean, I've seen it. I'm telling you,
I'm sorry, guys. It's
it
real.
is overly done. No, black man, be black. Keep the bass in your voice, because we with you on that. I'm all the way behind you on that. And so I do feel like people change in professional uh areas instead of staying who you are and making them accept that. If everybody stopped doing that, accept who I am.
I don't think it has to do with the professional sense more than a there's just a agenda to demasculate men. In period,
Right.
there's
And
just
so
an
yeah,
agenda
it
to
doesn't
do
have to
that.
be professional. At the bank, I
Yeah,
see
it's not professional.
it's
It's
all over.
just there is a tone in the society as a whole that wants men to not be men.
black men in
So
particular.
it's all men,
It's a
all
huge
men.
thing on black. It's all men, but it's a
It,
huge
it's
thing on
it's
black.
all men. I mean,
I,
we're talking about black men, so we can say black men, but I think
but
there's a agenda to get all men not to be men.
wait, but I don't want to get lost on Nunn's point that black men feel the need to become softer in these rooms, not in efforts not to be seen as aggressive,
Right.
and in efforts not to be seen
As a threat.
right. You want to become unassuming because it I in the circles that I'm in, even a regular argument, like I've been in I worked with a construction industry I have for a while, off and on. I've been in places where a white guy can get upset, he can throw something, and God damn, yeah, that Bob, he can throw his hat clear across the room. If I was to get upset and do that, somebody's calling the police. Somebody's calling.
I have been in that situation myself.
Somebody's calling the police, and I'm going to jail. Dag nabbit, I'm going to jail. I don't even have to
I've
cuss.
seen it.
But
I've had up to here with you. I've had up to here with you, buddy.
Right, that's a
Oh,
real
Jesus.
get upset.
I've seen
He
it.
get upset and throw his energy drink clear across the room.
Okay.
And
Okay.
one goes to jail. If I do it,
What?
I'm going to jail. I know I'm going to jail. They're gonna
No, that's not true.
I think that
that's not true.
I think both black men and black women do it. It's just more obvious when black men do it because they have to change their masculinity.
No, they don't. It has nothing to do. And
but
the problem I have with this, it has nothing to do with this concept of masculinity. It has everything to do. It doesn't. You're not a man. So I'm gonna say this in this essence because I will say that. So as a black man who has to show up in these spaces as a black man and who has to show masculinity or whatever the concept is, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to know with who your audience is and how you have to cater to specific audiences to be successful and to get what you need and to get the outcome and the goal of what you need. And I'm saying that as a quite successful black man who does not have to compromise things, but I do have to adjust.
No, you just said no, but you said cater to. You said cater to this particular group.
That is not me being less. That is not me being less masculine.
Know the group that you're in and cater to them when you're in certain spaces. So that means you're altering the authentic Chev.
That's not true.
Yeah, that is exactly
that's not
what
true. That is not true.
Exactly what that means.
No, the authentic Chev wants to be successful in particular spaces, and you're saying that's not. That's no. Yeah, this is y'all not black men. So like no, that's not true.
Yeah, I'm not a black man, but I like
that's not true.
That's
absolutely not true.
That's just some clarification.
As someone who has to navigate,
so I can't speak on black men because I'm not a black man.
So
yes.
I just want to verify.
Not necessarily, no.
So I think I understand. I can speak on what I see. I don't have to have that experience. I can see.
Okay.
I can say what I see.
But let's remember this though, because I've been on these conversations before when we talk about issues with black women in particular, and then we shut down black men because of that, or men in these spaces. Y'all can shake your heads or whatever. But next time I say I have to have the experience, yet I can speak to it because of me outside looking in. I just want to remember that moment.
No, just last week, Free, I don't know if he's still on here. He said that white women have the thickest vagina.
That's what he said.
I didn't say no to that. I'm a woman. I've never seen a white woman's vagina, so I cannot speak to his experience. Even though I'm a woman, I cannot speak to what he has seen. Even if I saw a lot of different ones. The point is I cannot say no. You didn't just because you saw it doesn't mean you know about it. No.
You lost me at vagina. I just want to say that.
But somebody else woke up. Hello.
So Chev, so is it kind of more like, you know, the authentic you is only really for family, friends, people that's close to you? And then
that's not what I'm saying.
No. I'm not saying that's what you're saying. I'm asking the question. So I'm asking, like, so is it more if for you, like, you know, when you show up in spaces like with us, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's the same Chev that shows up in spaces at, you know, your events and stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So what I'm saying is like, which Chev shows up with us?
It's the same Chev that shows up in every other space. What I'm saying is I have a goal. A Chev, the authentic Chev, has a goal in particular space, in every space.
I get that. I understand.
Right? And so my resilience, my spirit, whatever the case may be, all my talent That's what I'm trying to say. My talent alters based on particular spaces to survive in that space and to get and to attain the goal that I have in that space. And so that does not mean I am being less masculine. That does not mean I'm being less genuine. That does not mean that I'm being inauthentic. That means that I am
Adjusting.
that I have a goal in mind, and that I want to achieve that goal, and that I also want to enjoy myself in achieving that goal.
If you
Well, why can't all?
And
Well,
no
why
one else is
can't?
Chev.
Why?
No one else is
Hold on, I was
Chev
going to
You're
in
ask
this
a question.
particular
Hold on.
situation.
You have to adjust yourself, and you're catering to whomever is in that room by adjusting yourself, maybe your level of voice, maybe the way you move, whatever the case may be. You're still adjusting yourself.
And I can speak to that because
Okay, well, question.
I personally experienced that with Chef. We will be at an event together, and this is Chef will be Chef. I'm telling he can work a room. Can work a room. I believe that you are definitely goal oriented and you know how to get your goal. But also when we have moments where we're in that same space together, you and I will have a private conversation, and we are authentically relaxed, and it is family. And your tone is different, your word choice, because you're comfortable here.
Because
And
I
it's
have a
not,
goal
wait a
to
minute,
make,
it is
but
not, wait a
you're
minute,
proving my
wait
point,
a minute.
Ashley.
And it's
You're
not
proving my
that, and
point.
I can say, let me finish. I can say that in those spaces with you, I do not think your masculinity fluctuates or goes up and down. I don't believe that. So I can speak to that, and I can say I agree with you if you let me finish my sentence
My bad. Keep
on
going.
that.
Keep going. You're right.
Well, okay. Well, I have a question to
I
pose the
love you.
room.
You're
I have a
right.
question to
I
pose.
gotta stop.
I have a question.
I asked him a
Hold
question.
on.
I've been sitting here quiet, y'all. I have a
Right,
question to pose.
hold on, but the reason why I asked the question because I asked him the question, he responded, so I wanted to respond to the question that I asked him, right? So the reason why I had asked you that question was because who I am with Ashley, Gerard, with Ashley and Brandy, right, is not the same person who I'm with Gerard, right? Or
Ditto.
it's not the same person who I'm with at my job, right? And it's because for me, it's the comfortability level, right? I know them, I'm comfortable with them. I know I can be myself without feeling judged and stuff like that. So when I'm in these spaces, especially when I'm going to work, you know what I'm saying, I do tend to tailor back who Leroy is, you know what I'm saying, because of those things. So much so that when I was I had been out of the job for a little bit back in like 2015, and I was filling out applications, and every time I would put Leroy on there, nobody would hit me back. So my homeboy was like, "Hey, you should change your name to Lee, get rid of the Roy, and see what happened." I got rid of Roy, just put Lee on there immediately. I mean, Jaws was coming like this. So I said, oh, shoot. You know what I'm saying? It's the name, right? Leroy Jackson III. A white girl told me it don't get no blacker than that, right?
No black in that, brother.
Well, I want to pose this question. Are you supposed to talk the same way you talk to the president, that you would talk to the Prince of Persia, that you would talk to the Queen of England, that you would talk to your mother, that you would talk to your pastor? Is there
As
are you supposed to talk to them all the same exact way, or is there different ways that you would communicate depending on that particular person?
Tag me in, please, Coach, because
Well,
as someone who has spoken.
personally, what
Wait,
I've
wait,
been
wait, wait. Hold on. I just want to just tag me in on
Kev
this
getting ready to give us his
Okay,
resume.
you tagged. Go ahead, Chuck.
because
What's your
someone who
resume, Kev?
has spoken to many of the things that you have named in that. By the way, to someone who has spoken to many of the entities that you have named in that, yeah, you are to speak to them the same way. However, there is a way. It is not the connotation.
Can't hear you
Wait, you can't. We can't hear you.
because we can't hear you. You got a text message, but I want to say this while he's muted. Let me jump in here. I think that what Chev is saying and what ST3 is saying, I agree with both of them a little bit. The truth of the matter is, there is a level of success where people can be whomever they want to be in whatever room they want to be. I think there is a level of comfortability in yourself once you get to a level. Barack Obama, I guarantee you, wherever he goes now, he talks to everyone the same.
How do you know that?
Yeah, because he's Barack Obama. Literally, there are certain people that have expectations. You can get to a level, and I understand what Chev is saying a little bit, but my problem is, even if you take people on the same playing field, let's say we're both entry level people at our job. There is a way that I cannot communicate that my other counterparts can. That's just reality.
Well, here's the thing, and this is going to go back to some. Go ahead,
The
Brandon. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go
answer
ahead.
is no. You're not going to talk to them all the same way. Because the conversation is going to be different. However, I'm not going to change my femininity. I'm not going to change too many of my mannerisms. I'm not going to change those things about me. But no, I'm not going to talk to them the same way. I might use different words, but I'm not going to lose myself in talking to them. And a
Well, and
lot.
that's the thing. All of those are versions of yourself. You know, and I think that's the thing that we tend to forget is that all of these different versions that you are in different spaces are still you. They're just a version of yourself. That's what it is, and it goes back to something Chef said earlier about liberation, and he said freedom and freedom liberation, which is the same thing. Uh, and I'll look up the definition. That's the most important thing. I just lost it. If freedom, liberation is freedom. Liberation is freedom from behavior, right? Freedom from behavior. If you go look up the definition, that's exactly what I did. It's freedom from behavior. So what we essentially want as a black community is freedom to behave how we want to behave. And that's exactly what is going on right now. We walk into spaces, we want to behave a certain type of way. If you're going to go speak to the Prince of Persia, like I said, you have to know first and foremost what their culture is. There's a certain way you have to approach that person. Same thing with the president. Same thing if you were to go to an Asian country. There's a certain way you have to approach these people and speak to them. We decided, oh no, this is how we're going to talk to you. We want to talk like we want it to just blur the lines, and that's not how it works anywhere outside of our own community.
Right, but what Ashley was saying was that black men. Okay, I'm going to speak as a black woman, so y'all say I can't talk on black men. Black women, whatever, because you know I'm gonna come back and say something anyway. So you can thank me all you want to say. So, black women, we can't, or we're not supposed to. Let me talk about my situation. I was in a situation where this white girl called me. She was calling me names. She was talking trash at work. She was saying I was mean or whatever because she spilled rice and didn't clean it up. So I was like, that's dirty. You should clean that up. That's messy. She went back and told somebody. She came back up to the front and I told her what I said. And she said that I have a bad attitude and that I'm mean. And she was yelling this. And I'm like, I have the bad, and I'm calm. I have the bad attitude. I'm the one that's mean for telling you that someone is not your servant and that they don't have to clean up after you. I'm the mean one. Another coworker, Hispanic guy, comes to me and says, Brandy, you got to calm down a little. Just let her say what she's gonna say and just let her be what she's gonna be. Like just let her do it. And I'm like, no, until they can take blame for their actions, when they can accept or take accountability, don't come to me first. Go to her because I'm sitting here calm. I'm sitting in the chair. She's up. So they wanted me to be like, oh, it's okay, Coral, calm down, Coral. Like, don't be that way. And that's not how it works. And I agree with Ash in that black men do have to decrease their masculinity. They have to decrease the bass in their voice. They do have to control their hand movements because it's going to be considered as violent and aggressive. And that's what I've seen on the job. I'm not saying what's in his head. I'm telling you what I have seen with mine eyes.
Perhaps black men have to do that because they're getting emasculated in other spaces that have nothing to do with those spaces. And so and I think that has to go with the whole
I agree with that.
Taking ownership part. It maybe are not those spaces that are making black men, in this theory that I disagree with, that are making black men do that. Perhaps it's happening in another space where they think they're getting I think folks know where I'm going with this. I'm just
Right.
saying.
Don't
let's
put
take some
it on
ownership
us.
of it.
Don't put it on
Let's
us.
take some ownership of it. Like,
Don't put it on us.
I'm not putting it on you. I'm just giving another, like,
I
oh,
know
you're not.
I do agree
Yeah,
that
so
I would say that there are certain places where Black women do not champion the Black man, but I do not feel like that is on us. And I want to say, because now we're going to get all the way off topic. I think that Black men expect Black women to understand their experience and their struggle, but Black men don't take that same time to understand the Black woman's struggle.
Come on with
So
the
Oh my goodness.
Will you laugh, sir? Hit that mute button because you laughing over what I'm trying to say, and I'm making a statement.
right.
That's the point. But seriously, you can't put that on us. Be a leader. Be the leader. Stay in your position, and I'm gonna treat you like the leader.
Come on, Kane.
I mean,
I can agree to that.
all of that.
You the king.
I can agree to that.
And I was just telling somebody the other day, my nephew, who is the cutest little thing, he's my great nephew. He is the only man in our family as far as our core family.
Besides daddy.
Right. Besides my dad. But I call him the king, and he's only 1 year old. He is the king. He is the king. I feel like Black women should champion our Black men. We should let them know, hey, you are a leader. But we also need to let them know how to lead. It's one thing, because we always saying, you the man of the house, but you're not giving him guidance on how to be the man.
No. Woman, no.
Misconception.
We have already had a discussion where women there needs to be a man in the house to raise a boy. We've already had that discussion.
Right. Yeah.
Which I disagree with. Which I also disagree with in that same thing.
Yeah, you disagree, but yeah, it worked for you because you had men pouring into you, and I don't believe
not
that
in
he
the
has to be in the house.
We're
Right? I don't believe he has to be in the house.
We're not in the
but
household.
I do feel like he has to have interaction. I don't believe in the house.
She said.
Okay, cool.
She said Black influence. A male influence.
I'm with you. I'm sorry. I thought I heard household. My bad.
But in regards to showing him how to lead, you don't think women have a part in helping show boys or men how to lead? Like
no. How's that going?
You're kidding me.
How's that going? How's that going right now?
For example, if you're
how's that going right now?
Hold on, calm down. I'm not pause. We already said that men need to be in. There needs to be male influence. What I'm saying is, let's say you have a family where there is a husband and a wife in a household, right? Okay, so how the man treats the woman, right, is one thing, but how she responds to how he treats her is showing that boy how to lead. If you want the response that your mom is giving your dad, then that's how you need to lead accordingly. So don't say women can't help teach boys how to lead and that men can't help teach girls how to be women or how to be feminine. Don't do that. I mean, you can.
No, women have to play their role. Everybody has a role.
I think
everybody has a role.
Because even
I agree.
I'm telling you, I just had this conversation. It can be a 2-parent household, and that man is not as active as he should be outside of discipline and sports. So I dated this guy whose dad was present, but you ask him today what role did your dad play? He would say his dad wasn't hands-on. So I think that Black men have to do their part. We cannot always say, "Oh, it's the Black woman and her attitude, and she don't let me be a man." I can't stop you from being a man. That's a deep statement. She don't.
That ain't a man. I'm sorry.
Stop you from being a
man. Ain't a man.
And I also saw a video of a guy. He was in tears talking about his dad. He's like, his dad never hugged him. His dad never said, "I'm proud of you," any of that stuff. But he said he learned how to love because of the love his mom gave. Because of the loving on him that his mom gave him.
And I asked the dude today, I said, if you had a son, would you kiss him on the mouth? He said no. And I feel like that's love though. Why wouldn't you kiss your son?
See? And that no.
See, you say no.
And I have twin boys, and I'm saying yes. So
but at what age do you stop? I feel like you shouldn't stop. I feel like, why is that looked at as that's endearing. That's your dad, that's your son.
Because of environments that teach us that, and it's the environment that teaches certain spaces that is not masculine or that is not okay or acceptable to do that. So it's all systemic, to be honest.
Oscar, Dr. Jackson, Sensuela, Realist, y'all gonna say something on here?
Oh, free.
Hey
Oh,
man, go
Freak
put
a
your
Leak is
clothes
back.
on.
Freak a
I was
Leak.
waiting for, I was
Hey
waiting
man, go
for,
put your clothes
I was
on.
waiting for Free to pop back up.
Go put your
Not the
clothes on.
shimmy.
Hold on, because we need to change this conversation. I thought we got another one.
Right.
Freak a
Real
Leak.
quick,
Hey,
answer the topic. Let's answer the
Ass.
topic real quick.
you gonna find that
How
in the chance your ass.
Right, cover up. How is slavery beneficial? That was supposed to be the topic, but y'all like to go far left. Was slavery beneficial? Is
I-
what they're going to be teaching in Florida valid?
Can I
I
say something?
slavery has its benefits. It introduced us to the English language that gave Black people a leg up in a world where the English language is very much needed. I
That
do
was a free trip to America.
I do think when you
Historically, there was all, but hold on, just the British were already colonizing, so just slavery didn't have to happen for an intro to the English language. As a heads up.
okay, I didn't say that. Okay, I also think that. Thank you for that tidbit.
You said it introed us to the English language. That's false.
I mean,
that's false.
Chef, there are some places in Africa now that have not yet been introduced to the English language. So to say
the English language is not the standard. We can't say
standard.
that's like the supreme language.
No,
I mean, they don't need
Okay,
to know
how y'all gonna tell him what he feels? Go ahead, talk about what you feel. Go ahead, finish.
It wasn't a feeling. I just wanted to fact check.
He's saying what he believes and how it was beneficial.
Okay, well that's problematic. We need facts.
Secondly, I think
the fact is slavery was not beneficial. So if we're gonna need facts, we shouldn't have this conversation.
Right.
So go ahead and state your
I
opinion.
agree. You
right.
win.
So I want to say this. Secondly, oftentimes when we talk about Africa, we talk about Africa as it is a country. Africa is a continent.
That's how it was taught to me.
Africa is a continent, and I can look at some places in Africa, and I don't know if that's where I would be from or not, but I would say that I'm glad I'm not there right now with the way things have progressed. So I will say that there are some things that you can call, but overall, I don't think the act of slavery is beneficial enough to give it a positive spin. But I do believe there were some benefits to slavery.
Okay.
Agreed.
None. Oh, that's it. Does anybody else have
No,
any?
I agree with that. I think that there were benefits. I mean, I think that in any struggle, there's a benefit because it's going to show you your strengths. It's going to give you a different viewpoint. Like any struggle, there's a benefit to it. But I don't think that is beneficial enough to try to pass it off as a positive benefit. Like like we helped y'all come up. Like, no, I don't agree with that.
I would agree with Ashley that there are benefits to any struggle. And when you are ready to realize the resilience that someone has into it, I think the issue for me is that, again, just piggybacking off what Ashley said, is that the current leadership in government and through legislation is trying to paint a positive picture that does not actually exist of the benefits that have happened. And they're trying to rewrite and recreate history in a way that brainwashes the reality of things that have actually happened and the struggles that came before that, and currently the struggles that are happening now. And it's a deviation from all the other horrible things that are happening, particularly in this state, that's unfortunately going to lead things in a national perspective. And so all that to say, I second everything Ashley said in that.
Well, I do have a question. Can Black parents come together and get a lawyer and sue the school board or whoever put this in place and put a lawsuit?
They've already filed it.
Yeah, the black parents don't have to do that. White folk already did that.
Okay,
and it's in the form of ACLU.
Okay.
And so,
I think that
but what we can do is we can ensure that we sign those petitions to ensure. So those folks that come up to us, or most folks on the streets, by the way, when we're coming from the grocery store and we're trying to go to that car and say, "Are you a registered voter?" They're not there to pester us. They're mostly there to ask us to sign something to put on the ballot to stop something hateful. So
and I think it's important
not read it first. Don't just be signing anything. Read it before you sign it.
And I
And
think it's
listen,
important not to
it's a
be
testimony.
reactive.
Brandy ain't lying. She gonna read every. I went with her to get a car one time. She read every single document. What should have been maybe about 20-30 minute trip. We was there about 3-4 hours. So
True
she
story.
is true.
Do you like that?
True
No, do
story.
you like
But
that?
I think that it's important not to be reactive. And I want to say this, and then I'll hit mute. I in my house in Deltona, we have a long fence where you can see across. And so we bought vines to go along the fence. 2 years later, we go back to the nursery because they're not growing. We're like, wait, what's going on here? She said, no, they're growing. She said, these particular vines, they grow deep, then they creep, and then they leap. Once they come out the ground, you can't stop them. I think that that's Black American. That's our problem. We wait for the leap to happen, and by the time the leap has happened, you can't change certain things. Certain things are already in motion. They have dug deep and creep. We need to sit in certain. We need to be in certain seats already. When those things were being talked about before it was passed, we should have already been in place to do our part to stop it. Now we're in the leap phase, and now we're trying to be reactive and cut down stuff that's going to keep growing.
Because the root's already
Well,
down.
why don't we take the black dollars and create after school programs that teach all of this stuff rather than depending on other people to do it for us? And that goes back to what I've been saying in the beginning.
No, I
That's
didn't say depending
we
on
keep
anybody.
we
I
no
said
no
we
no
need to.
Because
Let's do
public
that.
education
I'm
is federal dollars, not black dollars.
but that's what I'm saying. Why don't we take the money that we have, our own money, and create these programs so that way we're not relying on other people to teach us about our own history. Because you know
Because
how I
it
know about the
won't
Haitian
dent it.
history?
That's the thing. It's public dollars. It's public education. It won't put a
He's.
dent in. I understand what he's
Why
saying.
don't
I get what you're saying.
I
I get
understand
what
what
you're
he's
saying.
saying. I just want to just
but why don't we start there? There's
paint
Boys
a
and Girls
reality
Clubs,
that's
right?
real.
Uh,
I think the
okay, but
reason why
how
people
did
won't
Boys and
start
Girls Club
there,
start?
I think people the reason why people won't start there is because Black people do have the mindset, my one thing won't change anything. My one act won't change anything. Instead of
Don't
realizing
care.
my one thing will change a lot. People
We
will say,
don't
well, if
care.
I stop eating it, it ain't gonna change nothing, they ain't gonna go out of business. Yeah, but if you stop and I stop, if you be singular while we're still united, it will. And I think Black people just don't want to have that grit to say, you know what, I'm not going to do it, or I'm going to put my dollars in here and make a little change,
There's no unity.
at least in my little area.
You know what it is? I think
I'm with you,
also it's the
Sophia.
fact that we have
Sophia.
different passions about different things, right? Like a group of us would be more passionate about doing this, while it may be another, group of Black people, like ST3 saying, what I'm saying, it's the unification on one particular thing, on one mission is just difficult. You have spots of it, but it's not like a lot of it, right? Because but yeah. But
There's no unity, and we don't care as a whole.
what it do? Now give me what was the analogy again? Because I'm gonna use that this Sunday. Well, how you said it?
That was good. It was so
It goes
good.
deep,
Goes deep,
creeps, and
creeps,
then leaps.
and then leaps. Yeah, like our relationship with the Lord.
Ooh,
Come on, hey,
how it should be. How it should be. People trying to leap and go
Yeah.
deep, but they ain't
They
got no
trying to leap. They trying
foundation.
to leap. They trying to leap, but ain't got no about. But hey, that's gonna preach this Sunday, girl.
You better give her credit too.
Okay,
I was just about to say
In
that.
the book of Ashley, verse
my
I quote a
4.
lot of sources. I quote sources.
Oh,
Okay, you
no.
quote your sources. My theory is it doesn't benefit us at all. Slavery did not benefit us. It forced us to learn how to farm, or we already knew how to farm. We knew how to farm before we came here. We knew how to do things before we came here. Blacksmithing was we already blacksmithing and pottering. We created civilization. So you didn't teach us. It didn't benefit us anything. It benefited the slave owners and the country.
I think that
And I'm
maybe that
teaching with these programs, Dustin.
I think maybe there's a solace that we can take in the impact that we had on civilization, post being brought over here for slavery.
Awesome.
Like the arts. I mean, the music as a result of our suffering. The Carolinas, the emergence of tobacco trade, the whole reason why we need our 40 acres and a mule. Those things are parts of world history. It's stuff that we're not learning, certainly. So we need to fight that battle. But I think you're right. Like the overall benefit to us, negative. We didn't benefit, but the world civilization and our mark in history should be recorded, felt, and understood. And put in its proper context. So there's that. We certainly should fight that, or fight for that, I should say.
I'm just gonna cut us off right there and say thank you all for your thoughts on what was supposed to be benefits of slavery that went everywhere. I enjoyed it. But we're gonna move on now to our other topic. If you want to stay on, please do. Not a problem at all. If not, I dig it. But we're gonna talk. Does size matter? First of all, put your tongue in your mouth and put your hair back down because you're making me nauseous. And this is for men and women. I'm sure Dr. Jackson will pop back up. Since Spoiler will pop back in because y'all nasty.
What size we talking about?
You know what size we
Like
talking
what? Be specific, because we can talk about any sizes. Sizes. Talk about it. What we talking about? Penises? We talking about weight?
Bank
Your
account,
shoe size?
bank account,
Your bank account
house,
size? Let's be specific.
All of them.
Let's start
All
there.
of them.
Let's
job,
start there.
salary.
Breast
Well,
Let's
size.
start
All of
there.
it. All of it.
And
Let's start there. What size we talking about? Let's let the audience know what size we talking
ST3,
about.
that's the question I asked last week when this first came up. And I think this is so, I don't know what Dr. Jackson is, but I'm ready for it.
Okay. First, which one most intrigues you, Stelson?
Yeah, you
I
start.
mean, you're the host. Go ahead, tell us. What size you talking about?
Which one we talking about? Who?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Which one piques your fancy, sir?
Well, definitely not the size of a penis. I'll tell you that much.
Okay.
And don't think to anybody who's got.
Size definitely matters.
Of the vaginal canal.
1000% size matters.
Size of the booty. The breast.
Don't be body
Size of
shaming.
the lips.
Oh, we're gonna talk size of the vaginal canal. Does
I mean,
it be tight, or are you gonna get yours regardless?
Don't be body shaming now. My
Fellas,
BBL
does
is
it have to be
amazing.
tight, or are you gonna get yours regardless?
Are we talking about preference, or are you talking about? Well, that's what I'm trying to say.
Not preference.
I mean,
Preference is something that squeezes a little.
I think I speak for all men when I say that we like something a little bit snug. I think I speak for all men
What does
who,
snug mean?
if
'Cause I
that
don't think you're speaking for me.
tight,
So
it's a tight enough, but not too tight where you can't get up in there, but tight enough to where you can feel it's not all loose and whatnot.
Okay, on that, I have a question for the men. Have you experienced the not tight? Like, is that like a common thing?
I think everybody has. Yeah.
Well,
Is that common though?
That's
In
the
your
question.
experience,
Is that
in your
common?
sexual experiences?
I don't think it's common, but
Nah, I mean,
I think
I
everybody.
think it's more
everybody-
common than what people think.
I think it's a difference between, because I know women that got snappers and they got grippers. They got snappers and grippers. It's different. It's
Yes,
different.
sir.
It's different
Yes, sir.
levels. to it.
Wait,
Okay, what's the
snapper?
difference?
Wait. Snappers and grippers?
We
Yeah.
have begun. Go ahead.
What's the difference?
So the snapper is more like
Law.
how like a rubber band, you pull it in, it snap. It snap back. It snap back,
I
right?
don't understand that.
I mean, I think the real is kind of one and the same. I mean, they might just look. It looks a little different. It looks a little different, but
The gripper don't snap back. That gripper lock on. That joke ain't going nowhere. That snapback will come back and bah. That's what I'm trying to say. So
When does it bow though?
oh, that's that.
What do you mean bow?
What is bow?
That is what gets you cussed out after 2 minutes.
I
That
have
was
not.
like,
I have
yeah.
not aligned with my cousin more today than just in this moment. I understand,
What does that
Leroy.
mean?
I understand 100%
You
of
know
what you're saying.
What is the bow?
I mean, when it come back, it come back. It just, it come back with. I don't know how to explain it. It's just a feeling.
So which is preferred?
Right, the snap or the gripper.
Because I'm
They
just
both have their moment. They both have their
Right.
place.
You get it. You
They
get it.
Both have
You
their
get
place.
it.
I told you I align with you so much. In this
Yeah,
moment.
it depends on the moment. So that's why I'm saying
Don't let the last 14 years fool you. I know what's up.
And do you prefer it tight is contingent upon whether she got the snapper or the gripper.
I can't believe this is the same group of people that just was involved in a very intellectual conversation 15 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
I'm completely mind blown.
But yeah, here the freak elite pastor about to say
Well,
something. Come on, pastor. Say
Man,
what you
this
gotta
is
say. Come
this
on,
is how
pastor. Say
stuff
what
like
you
hey,
this
gotta
no
say.
pride, no pride. I ain't even gonna call your name. No pride, Rob. You don't know you acting shy tonight.
Listen, so
Right, done
You
told
don't know
everybody
what I'm
gave a
talking about.
whole
You don't know the
Bible.
difference
Look
between
at here,
the
Bible stuff. You
snapper
the
and
dictionary
the
of it.
gripper. You don't know the
my
difference between
lord, a snapping turtle.
Right. I'm snapping
I don't
turtle.
know, but I
I'm
don't.
confused in every way possible right now. But
What are you
okay.
confused about?
Look at
Right, 'cause
Dr.
what do
Dr.
you
Jackson
Jackson.
nasty
do I
self
need
Look
to
at
back.
her. She came
train?
on
Look at Dr.
smiling. She's like,
Jackson
I
nasty
know
self
you're
back.
talking about daddy.
Do that?
Which one
Do
is
I
it?
need to
Is
train
it
my
the snapper or
vagina
the
to be
gripper?
a
Tell
snapper
me.
or a gripper?
That's
Like
so
which one
nasty. That's
she's
so
supposed to
nasty,
be?
Roy. Roy, you nasty.
What he said?
He asked Dr. Jackson, did she had a snapper or the gripper?
No, I tell you what I said. I
That
said,
ain't what he said.
Oh,
That's what's wrong with you. What's wrong?
Because
I
she
thought he
she
did.
expects it. Okay, so anybody else have a thought? Which one is more preferred, a snapper or a gripper? Like what?
Free.
What
Get
what is
unmute
a
free.
snapper and what is a gripper?
We don't know. Well,
Okay.
a gripper is self-explanatory. It's
Yeah.
just like he said, but I don't know what a snapper
He
is.
said the snapper snaps back. I don't understand
A,
where
a snap
is that
a
like a ping
snapper
pong
pulls,
machine?
but a
You pull
gripper
it back.
holds. A snapper pulls, but a gripper holds. It really is a real thing.
Gerard, come on. Gerard, I was wondering when you was gonna come out.
How does it pull? So what should a vagina be trained in? I'm asking
Oh,
for me, a
It,
friend.
in bo-
if you snap or grip, you're gonna be loved much.
now
Well,
if you do, now
I've heard I
listen.
do both.
Yeah,
So
yeah. Because if you
You
do,
heard
if
you do both, but
if
you
do
just
both of
learned.
them,
I'm the snapping turtle of that grip.
if you do both of them,
I'm the snapping turtle of that
hey,
grip. I don't know.
now I used to think, man, Nick, some of these dudes were just crazy when they was going, just going to shoot a joke about this girl. I understood what it was. When
If
I
you get
became
the
an adult, I understood what it was. She had both of them.
I'm telling you,
You didn't want to lose
I've had people drive to Tampa about me. I ain't lying. I had a dude say he would have hit me with his car when he found out I had moved on. I ain't lying. These are facts. These are facts.
Damn, I think that's a third category called that lethal. I mean, if somebody gonna kill you over it.
So has
Right.
slavery benefited?
Yeah, that foul.
Did it benefit?
Yeah,
Hey.
that pulled mass out the mansion and into the back house. So yeah, exactly.
I don't think you can train for either.
Oh, that's BS. I don't know who John Doe is, but
1000%. Go run. Get on the treadmill. It'll get that thing.
Well, I mean, you can
The
Kegel.
Kegels.
You can Kegel it.
Yeah, the Kegels and the
Teach me
deep
how to
squats.
snap.
The deep squats, what they call them balls, what's the little
The bear?
yoni
What
thing?
are they called? The bee. They start with a B.
The
No, not
best,
the bees. Not the bees. The other one,
listen,
the big,
listen.
the egg thing.
The best part about this conversation is ST3 looking at us like, and these niggas try to convince me that they weren't the problem with Black America. He's looking at us. He's looking at us like these niggas are definitely the problem with Black America.
BS, because he was the first person to ask the question. He was the first person to ask the question. So what size do we mean? Oh,
He leaned in too, didn't he?
And he leaned. He
didn't know he was gonna get all this. He didn't know he was gonna get
yeah,
grip
he did.
snap.
That's why he's still here.
He didn't know
Hey,
grip
I'm,
snap. He didn't know
I'm just
grip
taking it all in.
All them white
There you
people.
go.
I'm just,
He didn't know he was gonna
hey,
get that, Leroy. He didn't know that's what he was gonna
He's writing notes. He's writing notes.
hey,
Not
no,
a
I'm just
ripple.
taking,
Like he's writing notes.
I'm just taking it in. That's it.
Come through.
That-
SB3.
All right, ladies, does size matter? We talking about penises. Does the size matter?
1000%. I think that girth matters more than length. Because if you have no girth, there's nothing that can be done for that, and there's
You
no
can't snap
working
or
with
grip.
that. I'm sorry.
You're saying if there's no girth, you can't snap or grip.
There's nothing to snap or grip.
Right. He is having a ball, but I think she's not. I've never
And
experienced
I
that.
don't even think he's having a ball. He's in his whole head. He in his head the whole time. He ain't looking at me. He ain't looking at porno. He in his head the whole time because a micro penis can't do nothing.
And I think it is important. I think that to get a visual prior to
Ah,
1000%.
so you solicit dick pics?
Not
Hey.
all the person.
Tyrone, don't do that.
No, I'm asking if she does. That's what I'm saying. She said she needs a visual before. Does she look at dick pics? Is there 3D
I don't know
model?
who
No,
this
I
mysterious
think
voice is, but you need to keep
that's
your pictures
Oscar
to
from
yourself.
last week.
It's
I
Oscar.
think, just like the realist said last week, how he would put his hand down there and say, "You smell this?" Like he trying to help. I think it's the same concept when it's about that time and it's like, do you see that? Like, do you see what I
I
see?
can't either.
Because I can't work with it. And I
Oh,
think it's helpful. It's helpful to
What?
say, you know what? Don't pull that out ever again in life. Keep that hidden. No, I'm just kidding. I've never done that, and I will not.
I was about
I'm about to
to say,
say, I
yeah,
don't believe
you
that.
You
I'm
don't
like, I don't
believe
believe
that?
that.
You don't believe that?
that she said that. I don't
yeah.
believe she said that. No,
No,
I don't believe she said
I've
that.
never done that. I've never done that. And I
Right.
thank God that I never have to. But that is the
Right.
thing, though. Girth matters over size for me. I don't know who put Team Girth in the comments, but hey, we're there.
I think that's a general consensus. I'm
They
not
told
speaking for women, but I think most women would agree with that statement that they want the
So it's
girth.
about the
But
size, not about how it's used.
no, I think that,
Well,
and let me say
Come on
this:
here,
there
Chad.
can be too
there you
much.
go. Let's
There
talk
can be
about that.
too much.
Right.
But I don't care how you use it. If there's no girth, you could be swerving it. You can be
girth
hitting
like,
all kind
so
of
you
angles.
want girth like
It's not
this?
doing anything for me though.
Girth like this?
You can spin me.
Look at Brand.
You can do
Brandy's so
stuff I've
nasty.
never done
She's talking
before.
about, yep.
It's in vain.
You can be snaking it and it ain't gonna do. I mean,
Listen,
you
you
want
ain't got
girth
a
like
pack
this?
down and you got a little garden snake.
No,
my very limited
Like
experience.
this?
In my very
Or
limited
like this?
experience.
I don't know what he asking, but I'm nervous to find
I
out.
know what
He's on
he's
the girth
asking.
check.
I know what
You
he's
want girth like
asking.
this?
But
He's on the girth check. That's
It
gonna hurt
depends
somebody.
on your canal. It depends on
So one like this
depends on
then.
your canal.
That's about
I-
inch and a half, 2
Like
inches of girth.
I've been in a situation where, because for some reason, I don't know why, dudes like showing me their penis. I'm okay. That's weird. And I will tell you, yeah, that you're not even a shower or a grower. Gotcha.
Woo!
You are no call, no show. What?
Woo!
Yikes! I want to say,
I didn't ask to
But
see
y'all,
it.
but y'all was clowning me for talking about, do you smell this? After what she
You
said.
know. I didn't say that because that's what you did.
Y'all did give the realist a very hard
roll the
time.
clip back.
I said,
Roll the clip back.
She's
You
damaged.
all-
No, she'll
all
never
gave-
live
Roll
that
the clip
down.
back.
Oh my God, the mental anguish. Or what did you
Roll the clip back.
Right.
Roll it back.
I was team
I tell
all that.
somebody
No,
that
no.
they're not a shower or a
Not
grower.
only that, Ash even said that young lady died right there.
right then and there?
She
She did
never
that.
lived. Her body got up, but she never got up from that
said it.
spot.
But apparently we're supposed to be building kings.
Right,
Oh,
right.
child.
You know
And
what?
I support
You can't
black
be a
men.
king with the
First off, no
Prince
problem,
crown.
Rob.
I
Don't
support
use my
black
real
men.
name.
But
Oh, so
Brandon,
you only a king.
Child.
Did you hear
listen,
what Brandy said? Brandy said a man is only a king if he has a king-sized penis.
and listen,
Come
listen,
I did
through.
not say that. That's not what I said. What
listen,
I
Leroy.
said was you can't be a king with a prince's crown. That's what I said. Use
No,
my
no,
words.
and not only that,
You ain't said nothing different than what I said.
hey,
But use my words.
hey, Leroy, not only that, when old boy calls her and she around her friends, a shrimp emoji comes up on her phone. She's got to be stopped.
Yeah.
Right, but that's the thing though. And I have seen guys that
You ain't right.
are little, and I said, "Oh, that baby's still growing up."
Right.
Like you gotta let that baby grow up, because it was a baby.
Brandon, you
You
ain't.
know what? That's what I'm trying to tell y'all.
So y'all actually said this
I feel
I
better.
to their face.
feel for these men. I really do.
Yeah.
And and I would actually bend down too. I would talk to. I said, "Oh, that's a little baby. You gotta grow up. That baby. Oh, I like that baby.
You a savage.
I like the baby.
That is terrible.
You
Absolutely.
That is absolutely terrible.
Where's the
That's what
swallow?
I did.
Where's the swallow?
That's what I
Swallow,
did.
swallow.
Savage.
And he died right there. He's still there mentally.
She's sleep.
Is he? Is he?
I'm just kidding. I've never done that.
I think he unalived.
I know you haven't.
I've never done that. So
I know you haven't.
let's not get me in the comments, y'all. Bring it down.
Yeah,
Gee.
that he would unalive himself. Nope.
But some people do have a baby
Think you would?
and they grown.
Yeah.
You don't think dudes know how their penis?
Yeah,
size?
but they don't want
know
somebody telling them that.
I don't have a butt, and people. I mean, that's common knowledge.
That's
I'm
very
not- I'm not
different,
walking around
Ash.
thinking I
That's
have a
very
butt.
different. That's
No.
very different.
It's
not different.
It's
That's
not
not
different.
different.
I don't. I mean,
It's not different.
I don't have a double
Visuals,
D either.
visuals are just as pleasurable.
No, but you
Visuals
have
are
to
no,
understand.
no, no, no,
A
no.
butt
Visuals are
is
just
not
as
required to
pleasurable.
perform sex, though.
That
That's
is
what
true.
I'm trying to say. It's not the same.
Man, it depends.
Right, and he can still
Depends.
have sex with
It,
his.
it really it depends. It depends on the guy. It really depends on the guy. You know what I'm saying? Because some guys want to see that little bubble back there. You know what I'm saying? When he's bouncing back.
I get that.
Like
Visuals
While
are
I get
very
that,
important.
visual is
Visuals
very
are
important for
very
men.
important.
For men, very important.
women
All
are
of
not
it has to
showing
look pretty. It can't be
They
all
literally,
roast beef curtain. You know what I'm
they
saying?
literally
Can't all be
argue
hanging
with
out.
themselves.
Hold on, hold
The
on.
difference
They
between the
literally
Right.
ripple
argue
or
with
the
think that they're
snap
going
up.
to
Hold
go
on,
get
hold on, hold
one.
They're
on.
literally
It's
getting
different.
BBLs to
Right.
have that. They're literally
No.
injecting themselves
No,
with
hold on.
certain chemicals.
But
Now,
that's
They
to
literally
enhance
killing
it, though.
themselves.
and
You
Literally.
go and tell a
hold on.
man, oh, cute that baby, need to grow up. He would off himself. That
Yeah.
would be it.
That's it. But
No, he'll
That
probably
would
off
be it.
you.
there
I
is
was
a
gonna say that he
difference.
gonna off
There-
you. He ain't
there-
gonna knock
But,
He'll
but
off
I'm
himself.
saying at the end of the
First
day,
off,
though,
let
Smack
me
you.
let me
somebody,
say this
somebody
Hey,
got
again.
Or
Let
or
me
he'll
say
cheat
this
with some,
again
or
for
he'll
Dr.
cheat with
Jackson.
somebody,
I
or
am
he'll cheat with
joking.
somebody,
I've never done that.
or
No,
he'll
no.
cheat with somebody who doesn't say that to him.
No, but hold on. There is a
Well, he
That's
ain't
what I'm
cheating on me
saying.
because we're
Like,
not together anyway.
And that's the chick you need to find, because all these canals are different sizes, just like penises are different sizes.
I
Find a
agree.
little skinny stream that works for you, micro.
A skinny
Well,
string.
there is a
Oof.
difference between the butt and the penis. I think if you want to make a
That's what I'm saying. You
comparison,
can't
it
compare
would
the
be
two.
it would be more of a
Yes, you can.
somebody saying,
I agree. You can.
"Hey, look at your vagina. It look like roast beef. You want some bread for that?"
Roast
Yeah, you
beef.
want to eat? You hungry?
Oh my lord.
But that's that. If that's how he feels it looks, then you can't. I mean, it is what it is. And women are getting cosmetic surgery in their vaginal area to make it look a certain way and to have a new.
Make it look
But,
pretty.
but a penis and no. But the way your vagina looks, the way your butt looks, are different because the
That's
butt does
cosmetic.
the butt does not have a function in sex other than visual
Exactly.
stimulation. You can
BS.
have sex.
Which is
Oh, you are so
Depends on
wrong.
what y'all doing.
That's
And I
so
say
wrong.
y'all
That is
because I ain't doing
absolutely
it.
incorrect.
Right, because that's crazy. The butt, you crazy on that one.
Very.
There's a lot that goes on.
And very.
If let me tell you, if that was the case, a lot of these non-black people would not be enjoying it.
Exactly.
But
if what was the case?
If the butt
if
was
the butts were if the butts were that big, then non-black people who have legs would not be able to
have what?
Legs.
Yeah, what?
Where their booty blends in with their
There
leg.
are white women getting butt implants.
No,
Because
but what I'm saying,
it
a lot of white
matters.
girls would not be able to do anything. That's
But that's deep. It's deep. It's deeper though. It's deeper than that though.
You're talking about it matters. It matters to optics. It matters to vision. It matters to attraction. It may even matter to arousal, but it does not matter
It doesn't have
to
a function.
function.
That's bull.
No,
that's
I'm
Well then, but then size doesn't matter. If that's the case, size doesn't matter then.
Right, I'm
Because
speaking to Dr.
what?
Jackson's comment of he will off himself. I'm speaking to the emotional effects. If a black woman, and I can speak to this, I am a black woman and I don't have a big butt. And that is something that is loved
can
in the
still
black.
get it,
Hold
though,
on,
right?
let me finish.
Hold on.
That is something that is loved in the black community. I've dealt with self-esteem issues, body issues because of that. So it's the same thing. You
Tell
can't
me
say
one-
one. Wait a minute. You can't say one is higher than the other because you can't
So
speak to that. If
hold
you
on.
don't have something,
Let me ask you this though.
if you don't have something, you can feel a certain type of way about it.
She's being a hypocrite.
No,
She's
but
being a
listen to what
hypocrite right now.
saying that makes it different. Can you think of one time one person said they did not want to have sex with you or they did not enjoy sex with you because of your butt size.
Right hand on the Bible, I can say I've never heard someone say they did not.
My point
But if a man
exactly.
has,
So
but if,
yeah, so
but if
that's
the other
different.
situation happens where a man
However,
has
That's
a
different.
micro,
wait a minute.
But she did say she got the snapping gripper. So that
Come
there's
through,
things that
come
can't.
through,
There's
ST.
things that there's things that
that's a,
there's things
you
that
just
can't.
proved my
There's
point.
But
cancellations now.
my point
There's
though,
cancellations there.
Wait,
you're
You know
proving
what
my
I'm saying?
point.
There's no
the
cancellation for a
question
man with
is,
a
No,
how
no.
many dudes,
Exactly. You're
the
proving my
question is,
point
how
though.
many dudes
You are
passed
proving
on
our
her
point.
because she did not have the butt size that they wanted?
That's not.
Exactly.
But that's
You
not.
have to consider that. How
Exactly.
many dudes passed on her because she did not have the butt size that they wanted?
But then they missed out on the snapping gripper.
They did.
Come on, ST. Keep saying that.
I mean, but I'm gonna say this. I get what you're saying, Rob. That it's not important to the function of sex, and so the penis size isn't important to the function of sex either. Because what is the function of sex? For reproduction,
I
not necessarily for
I
pleasure.
But if there's no
disagree.
friction,
There is
how
a function to it.
If he
If
can't
there
produce
is a
it,
feeling to it. If a fatter booty has more to has more to go into than a non-fatter booty. It's just not optics. There's actually things that can be done with that. So
I still don't
freakily
think they're equal.
help me out here. He's
I
just
don't
with
think
his
they're
glasses on. With his glasses on, just looking, just
free.
like, come
They
on.
talking
I
about
know
you free.
They're not equal.
he looked like he got a visual up on a computer. Put both of your hands up on the desk. What's wrong?
Micro penis will
Yeah.
ruin.
Weirdo. That's my
They're
homeboy.
not equal.
They are equal, and I think there's a little bit of a hypocritical kind of thing happening that happened earlier, where we were saying that size matters when it comes to penis size, and it doesn't, but not necessarily when it comes to butt size, and then it doesn't hurt with someone's self-esteem. I think it's actually how you use certain things. And so you say you can have someone with girth, but if they don't know how to do something with it, like what if they give you rabbit strokes?
First
What
of
if
all,
they right?
But
I
that
mean,
can be
if you a
taught,
dead
though.
lady, no.
But you could talk. You can teach.
Exactly. If you a dead lady, you're not moving your body.
But that's also
If
hypocritical.
you
You can teach.
but if you
You
have
can
no,
teach with size as well. If it's
No.
not the size
Exactly.
that you necessarily need.
What Chubb?
Yeah.
if it's not there, did
Chubb,
you
I'm
read
with-
my sign?
It's
Right.
I can't
Is it
see
in
It
yet?
says, is it in yet?
It says,
It's
"Is it
a
in
micro
Is it in
sign.
yet?
I can't
Oh.
see
So
it. It
you
don't
think that
matter.
that's acceptable? Is it in yet? You don't think somebody
Hold
gonna
on, please.
unlock themselves with that?
Well, I think
You
that's
don't think
probably
somebody gonna
where.
unlock themselves if you land, if you're with them and you like, is it in
Well,
yet?
what
And
I'm
he
saying,
know he
but
in.
what I'm saying is that they're not equal,
Right. That's yeah.
and I'm gonna stick with that.
Dr.
That
Jackson, I don't
comment,
like when you put that
Well,
voice on.
right? She thinks she done
well,
done it right.
it's probably not equal for you,
Back up.
right? It might not be equal for you, but for the next person, it might be. It might be just enough because everybody's different. You get what I'm saying? And the way you function down there is different too.
If a
And then not
girl
only
lays
that, but
down,
most of it is in your head.
if a girl lays down on her back and I'm getting on top of her missionary, the size of her tail in that moment when she's folded like a pretzel does not matter. It does not matter at all. I don't care I don't care if I had to. I don't care if I saw her. She walked by me and I realized that she ain't fat
And
back
she's
there.
on her back.
If
But
I lay her down,
See, I almost
it doesn't
passed
matter.
out.
but
I
For all
almost
y'all
but
voted.
if-
missionaries, y'all need
Right,
to
but see, if you got a bit like a pretzel, you should be able to be under there gripping up in that. You gotta have something to be
Hello?
gripping under when you
Yes.
when you got in the
But-
pretzel. You gotta be holding on to something. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
that's
this-
icing on the
That's
cake.
like so if that's nothing there, you just grabbing on bone. You know what I'm
Come on,
saying? Like that's just
Listen,
like
hold on,
that. You know,
Can't
that's
hold
just it.
you
So
ain't-
it means
when you folding, you ain't necessarily gotta grab her by the booty. You can
Right.
if you
I
a
mean-
real one and you like being in the stomach, you might want to grab up underneath her shoulders.
Come
you
on
know
here,
what I'm saying?
Leroy.
Come on to you like
I mean, you got the options, but the more options, the better.
I don't need
Leroy,
that.
The more options, the better.
I want the shoulders. I want you to
Leroy,
feel me. I
Leroy.
want to make sure you feel me.
Leroy, not even her
But then
shoulder.
you might grab her by her neck.
Leroy,
Then
not even her
you might grab her
shoulders.
by
You
her
grab
neck.
her right here, Leroy.
You might
right
grab her
here.
by her head. You know what I'm saying? But
You
I
grab her
mean,
by her
you
head.
want options.
Or
What if she laid there? You know what I'm saying? That's just not her head. It's like you want. Listen,
Option E,
but
all of
the
the
realest,
above.
you want options. You want options. The more options, the better.
The only
So if you can
time
grab
the
them
booty
down
really
there,
matter- the
if you
only
can,
time the booty really matter to me is if I want a rider. You feel what I'm saying? If I'm looking for a rider, then the booty matter to me. Yeah.
I feel like option E, all of the above. Shoulder, head.
the more the
shoulder,
merrier.
You
head,
agree,
shoulder,
free.
knees, and
When you
toes.
want a
I mean,
rider, the booty matter when you want a rider. Yeah. When you're looking for a rider, that's when the booty really matters.
Hey, Brandy.
Well, right.
I think that. Well, never mind.
I don't have a butt, so I ain't got no dog
Well,
to fight on.
but see, that's the thing. I think that and
Come
Dr.
on,
Jackson might have
someone.
made the
But
point.
if you toot it up the right
I was
way,
just about to say
it
that
look
if
like
you,
got
I've
some.
learned if you
Tooted
arch
the
it
booty,
back
baby.
right,
That's where I
if
was
you
at.
arch,
You know what I'm
if you
saying?
arch it back
gotta
right,
toot that thing up the right way.
you gotta arch
Give
the
me
back.
the dimple. I want to see the
You
dimples
see
on the
how I
top.
did that? You see, you gotta arch the back.
Toot it or boot it.
Wait, hold on,
But
free do it. You did it last time. Go ahead and toot it, free.
Wow.
Hey, homeboy.
Right.
Hey,
Wow.
homeboy. Hey, homeboy. Don't be on here with that foolishness this week.
Wow.
You don't
Please
need any
don't.
pictures. You don't need any pictures.
Visuals. Yep.
Listen, I just want to say one thing, and I'm just gonna listen. I'm just really listening. But my opinion, I'm 51 years old, and I'm not trying to put myself out there. I done been around with quite a few women. I done messed around with some.
Okay.
My thing is this. And I'm not trying to put myself on the pedestal or nothing. I'm a digger. I like to dig.
Whoa.
I ain't gonna lie to you.
Whoa.
Yeah,
I like to dig.
Homeboy.
Talk about it.
Wait. I don't know why
I'm just
my
gonna be real. I'm
home.
gonna be real.
Continue. Yep.
Hey,
Continue.
Me personally,
hey, Brandy. Mute him, Brandy. Mute my homeboy. Brandy, please.
Yep.
No, finish that. You would
listen, I know y'all
We're
don't
here
want to
now.
mute me and
Continue.
some of the stuff I done heard y'all say.
That's right. Keep going.
Go ahead,
You
finish
let
that.
go.
Listen, but anyway, I'm a digger.
Great day.
And I'm not patting myself on the back for nothing. I just thank God for what he blessed me with. But
Yeah, she
I'm
pat you on
gonna
the back.
say this. If
Not
I
thank
get there,
God.
if I get there and it's all out of shape and there's no grip to it, it's just a waste of time to me. I'm being real.
Okay. Good night, everybody. Good night. I'll talk to y'all next week.
I can't give my comment.
Wait, Gripper.
You did. Yeah.
I mean, no, Digger. How do you navigate those
She
spaces?
said gripper.
Digger. I'm sorry, Digger. So if you get in there and you feel like there's not, how do you navigate? Like, what is the conversation that you're having with her?
There is no conversation because you gonna finish anyway. My uncle told me.
No, he gonna be like Leroy. You smell that?
I probably just I don't know. I probably just normally what I do get mine and get on up.
Yeah, right. You selfish. No, see, not me.
And that's just the way I am. I got
Never.
I want to get in there. I got to move something out the way.
Nope.
Right,
I gotta move myself
I believe
out that
Digger
situation
about you because
is what I'm
last week
doing.
you said you don't do foreplay, so I believe you get yours and go. So I don't know about you.
You see what this shirt say? You see what type of shirt I got on?
No,
wait,
coach.
It's coach.
It's a coach.
That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna coach. I'm gonna coach because I already know. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody gonna be able to do the stuff I want to do. And sometimes it's not because they can't do it. It's because ain't nobody never showed them. You see what I'm saying?
So what you saying?
So I'm gonna talk her through it. What you
gonna say?
Oh, in terms of
don't do that. This is live.
He gonna give her a nick.
He
gonna give her a nick.
Hey, cuz. That's why I love you, cuz.
Hey, really. Hey, he gonna give her a nickname like every good coach does. Come on, little roast beef. Let's
no. This is live. Little
roast beef. Let's get it.
Also got from this whole panel he also got his sermon for Sunday. This is
Yeah,
live,
yeah,
cousin.
yeah. You
And
right.
you ain't doing it right
You
now.
right. That's
You ain't
good.
going.
That's
You ain't
Now
going
we
to
at
do
the
all
hours.
this.
Come on through. I'm listening.
I'm
We out down. You want to send me a text message, cuz? Send it to me.
ST3, how would you navigate that space?
Oh, I'm with the realists. Coaching.
And what does that sound like?
What does that sound like?
Not what
Right.
it
You
sound
want to
like.
What's your technique?
What's your I can't reveal trade secrets.
Coach,
I can't reveal trade secrets.
I like mac and
Give us a
cheese.
few lines.
I ain't got time.
I can't reveal trade secrets.
We out.
Right. What's your coach?
You've never been coached before?
Tag me in, coach.
No.
You've never been
I'm
coached?
ready to learn to play.
No.
No. So
Oh.
what does that sound like?
I just
What does it sound like?
What does that
Have you played sports?
What
Have
you
you played
said,
sports before?
Maybe. What?
I ain't here. I thought I
Dr.
heard.
She said something about follow
direction. She know how to follow
She followed direction. That's part of being coached.
That's part of
Following direction.
I appreciate it.
I take direction.
Follow direction. That's it. that's the for anyone in here that want to know how to be coached, you got to follow directions.
Check.
So you want someone just do you not think, and this is for the women, do you not think you can coach someone who
I can
hold
coach.
on. Okay, yeah.
No, I can't coach someone with a
you
garbage.
were
But we're not talking about a micro. We're not talking about a micro.
Go ahead.
You just talk about
Finish
coaching
your
in
question,
general?
Chef. He didn't
Yeah,
finish
we're not talking about a micro, because that's how this we started talking about real little small booties, and then we started talking about micros. Like, there are things that are called average, that for a reason.
Right. So can we coach
Right.
what?
Can you coach to the average?
Absolutely. Where my whistle at?
Look, I almost came out of my.
Well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Here's the thing.
Jackson,
I don't think that women necessarily should be coaching, but they should communicate what they like. And that's not coaching. That's more so just expressing what you like. Because I don't think a woman's position is
men
to
can
coach.
Right. No,
Yeah, that comes from a leadership position. That's literally when you talk about coaching, the coach is a
So
leader.
you're
Is it
saying
not?
that women are always in the submissive position when it comes to this type of thing, when in fact
I'm not
they're
gonna say
the most
they all.
vulnerable, which means they actually need to be in the most of the authority position?
Well, that's why I said they need to
I'm just
express
asking
what they
questions
like.
It's
Yeah, that's why I
delegated
said
authority,
it's expressing.
It's
Yeah, it's not
delegated
necessarily right, because I think a man should be coming into the
I'm not
situation.
listening to Ashley right now because she wants to be thrown across the room.
I think a man should come in to the situation knowing what to do, right? And then you just have to adjust per partner.
But most
Per
men,
individual, because now you can't.
Statistic wise, most men don't know what to do because most women don't orgasm.
They
So
be
should
lying.
the women not be the coach?
That's done in
Oh,
the female
no.
position. In the female position, I think that's done through hand placement. You can
coaching.
determine the speed, the depth with how you're moving
Right.
your hands. That's done with audio
Coaching.
cues.
Well,
That's
You're
assistant
giving
coaching.
cues
I'm an
in-
assistant
in
coach.
what you're- But he has to be
And if I just come in the room,
he
push you
has
down
to
on the
be
bed
in a
and just say,
position
sit
to
down.
accept it. Because sometimes you giving clues like, okay, you good right there, but he's so focused, or he's missing. So a guy, even though he's the coach, he needs to be. Oh, I like that. The assistant coach. He need to be able to take direction from the assistant coach, because I'm all hands on deck.
He's really the
I
player.
wouldn't say. I
Instead
wouldn't
of what it
say.
sound like.
I
can't.
I wouldn't say direction more so than if we're gonna put this as a team, like a team that's playing. You're the player. I'm the coach, right? So you're telling me, okay, coach, you're the one that's actually out there on the court, seeing what's happening. I'm just only directing you to get to the score the basket. Let's say the orgasm is scoring the basket. I'm directing you to the positions to be in so we can score this basket. But at the end of the day, you're the one on the court, so you can say, "Hey, coach."
Which means
Okay,
the women,
I,
which
No,
means the
Let
women
me
are
ask
the
you a
you
coach.
lost me
question.
on that
Let me
one,
ask you a
Essie,
question.
because you're all
no. The women
Let
aren't
me
the
ask you a
coach.
question.
all
No.
you are all
That's
the
the
Let me ask
same.
you
thing.
a question
Sometimes
then.
the player is the coach. Sometimes the player will coach.
That's
Because
what
if the play that the
is
coach is
so what
giving
you're
ain't gonna
saying.
work, I'm gonna help you. I'm
But
gonna tell you.
how many times does the team win when the player's the coach?
Well, he could be
How
the
Oh,
frequent
captain.
does that happen?
I
100%
How
think
of the
frequent does that
time.
I
happen?
You better
think
go to
the
some street
How
man
ball.
frequent?
is the
Street
It
ball.
captain.
doesn't happen
You
frequently
know,
because
Right.
but listen to this. It doesn't happen frequently because sometimes the player thinks they're the coach when they're actually the player. And in this instance that I'm talking about, we're confusing. And when I say we, you are confusing who's the actual coach.
Right. Well,
I have a question. Hold on. Can I?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry,
Oh,
lady.
oh
Sorry.
wow.
You know I
I'll
love
never get that
Thank you.
reaction. He be trying to talk. Ooh.
Well,
So
she follows
what you're
instructions.
saying,
Though.
what you're saying is so the woman is never in a dominant position.
I'm not saying that a woman is not in a dominant position, but the women are normally in a dominant position when the man is in a less dominant position. If a man who
And
is dominant comes into the situation, then the woman is just gonna bend up, do what you want me to
so
do,
let me ask
do
you a
what you want to
question.
do.
So you've
So let
never
Yes.
me.
been in a
So when the
situation where
woman
the
is on
woman is in
top, when the
control?
woman is on top, she's in control of everything at that
Oh,
point,
I love it.
right?
no, I
No.
think
Not necessarily.
no.
No,
He's
not if you're a
speaking for
dominant
a lot.
man.
He's
Because
No,
I
speaking.
not
have
if you're a dominant man, because you,
Yeah,
because she know what she do. But if you know what you're doing, you're gonna do it right back. And sometimes she ain't
yes,
gonna be. Anyways,
yeah. I think that he is also hand motion. He's helping to direct that too.
Right.
I
Because
think
when
a
them hands
guy
are
that's
like
just
this,
sitting there. I'm like, come on, come on. This a team, but
but
I don't agree with the coach player. I think captain of the team and then player. Like you might be the
he's
captain of the
still
team,
you're still a player though.
but
and
we
You're
so
just a
both
what
not
is
here
captain.
the
playing.
coach?
The coach isn't playing. The coach is just giving
Yeah,
directions. I
he
know
just
exactly.
he's
off
agree
to
with
the
also
that.
playing.
side. Ooh.
Yeah. So yeah, because I think it should be a team sport.
What
I'm
is
a
Digger
team
doing?
sport person. I'm hands on. I think I like to be communicated with. I like to communicate as well for those. But yeah, so and I feel like if you're too dominant, then it's all about you. You're not necessarily thinking about what she might like. So I do believe that, and I do believe that you got to have a combination of both. And regardless of you say whether you want to use the word coaching or not, giving instructions and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? I'm the type of person I do ask, you know what I'm saying? Like, tell me how you like it. Tell me, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna do me regardless, you know what I'm saying? But I ain't selfish, you know what I'm saying? You feel me?
But that's a good coach, the realist, because check this out though. You got Phil Jackson's right, and then you got who's a bad coach? You got Tyronn Lue. You know what I'm
You trying
saying? You
so
got
hard. That ain't hitting.
But
you.
Tyronn Lue ain't
It
Oh,
won
ain't hitting.
championships like
Chef,
Phil
It's not
he
Jackson
there.
won't let
won.
the
So
analogy
but
go.
He
but
won't.
let's
He won't.
if you
He
want to talk
lost.
about like
It's
Red,
gone.
Ottenbacher,
He's
and
gone.
listen.
And I'm trying to
so
coach
Let
him out of
let
this conversation.
That's right.
But
say trying to coach me. But no, what the realist is saying is true. Like a good coach is gonna know when
He's got
to
it in.
they're they're gonna know, right? They're gonna know how to communicate with their player, and they're gonna be receiving whatever their player is giving because they're the one at the end of the day on the court. They're the ones that's trying to get the orgasm. We get orgasm just sometimes. Some people just looking at your ass. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you get up in there and just
Never had
like,
that happen to me.
well, hey, every man is different. You know what I'm
Whoa,
saying? This
whoa,
one,
whoa, 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 whoa.
Point that
Abort.
camera up. Don't ever go down because we don't know what you're doing down
oh,
there. Okay. Um, I'm gonna say I don't mind a dominant. I don't mind coach on. But you got to be willing to be. I'm still gonna say women do coach, whether it's silent or verbally, whether it's in action or in movement. Even if we're moving our
but
hips, even if we're moving our hips to the side, I'm coaching you to tell you, boo boo, hit that corner.
but Brandy, you
Just
correct
like
me if
Phil.
I'm wrong, but would you say you're a more dominant woman?
No, I didn't say. I said that
Yeah,
I like
no,
dominance.
but you're a dominant woman though.
no, that's not what she's saying at all.
No, I'm saying that about Brandy based on what I know.
You want her to be a
Yeah, I think
dominant woman.
I think you're a
Yeah.
dominant woman.
So
Thank
I
you.
think you're a
I
dominant
think
woman.
what
Yeah.
everyone
So that's
just
why
heard was
yeah.
Everyone
No.
just heard you say dominate me, Brandy. I don't know.
That's what I heard.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on, what you're giving out, Coach.
I
Coach,
didn't say anything like
Coach,
that.
Coach, I don't know what plays you're trying to go over there, but abandon it, Coach.
First of all,
I guess y'all hearing things.
yeah, we're gonna stick with these basketball analogies. I know a lot of coaches that do this. They don't say nothing.
Mm.
So just like women, don't say nothing.
Hello.
You're still coaching.
You got the signs.
Right,
What's up?
right.
They silent now. They silent now.
But I want to touch on the whole orgasm thing. I think the whole orgasm is and a lot of guys don't realize this, but it's deeper than just the penetration. It's deeper than just the stimulation. But you got to stimulate the mind as well. That's like
Guys know that.
you got to stimulate the mind as well. A lot of men
Guys,
don't do that.
1,000%
You know what I'm saying?
guys know that.
Like
There's such a level of women.
you said what now? You said 1,000 guys? What?
I said 1,000% guys know that, but the truth of the
No,
matter.
they don't.
No, they don't.
Pastor,
Okay.
go
They don't
on
know
mute.
that.
Pastor, go on
So
mute.
listen,
Go back to
Mute,
negative
mute,
1,000%.
mute.
listen. You have to know that if you know that she's not having orgasm. The thing is, there's so many women. There's so many women who literally they say they don't care. They literally it is.
Who said that?
Who said
Nah.
that?
Look, because he said so many. There's
Wait,
three,
Who said that?
three of them
they
right
don't care
here.
about what?
100%.
Yeah, who said that?
100%
I,
heard. They had a whole neck.
I ain't never heard that.
Listen, I literally had. I didn't know that was a thing.
That's what
We
they
didn't
told
either.
you. You should keep that to yourself.
Let me go on mute.
No. I don't have no problem with that.
That's not what I heard.
Right.
Right now, just on this. You just keep that to yourself next time.
Listen,
Go ahead and finish.
I literally have two of my greatest female friends, and I didn't know that was a thing until speaking to them. And they talked about how often it is that women don't. It wasn't a personal experience of
Oh,
mine.
that's because they haven't. That's the problem.
It wasn't a personal experience of mine, but they literally said that it is very common for women to have relations and they don't get to that place and their partner does. And
I can say that.
And then when they meet a man that gets them there,
I can say that happens. But if you're a guy that can't get them there, you need to have great speech, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, but my point was because of that, it's not that guys are not unaware. Guys are definitely aware if they're in a relationship with somebody and they're not getting their partner to that place. They are aware. That was my point. Because
if they care,
no, I don't think so.
I know a lot.
I don't agree with that.
You don't think so again,
I know a lot of women who fake it.
So what?
Yeah, I would agree. There's a lot of women who fake it.
Right. So that goes to his point. That goes to his point that they don't care if they're willing to fake it. Right.
Exactly.
They don't. It doesn't say they don't care.
They don't.
It's not that they don't care.
That is it absolutely is that they don't care, because if they care, they would not fake it and they would say, you're not getting me there. I think
that's because they haven't been there. Once you go there, you can't go back.
So
once you've been to a situation where once you've been across the line, you ain't no going back.
That's not true.
That's what I'm trying. Ladies, once you go across that line, that's not true. Ain't no going back. You gonna go back? So now having an orgasm? Look at that. Struggling to answer.
No,
look at that.
It's not.
You got three ladies.
I'm gonna answer honestly. I think that there are certain trade-offs. I think you can go back, because if he is meeting other needs, not everything matters.
Okay, I didn't understand the context.
If he's meeting the other needs, then I think that there can be a
Right.
trade-off.
What other needs?
Every other need that you have. No, if he's fulfilling every other thing that you are
Right,
requiring, all the rest of
emotional.
your values.
I need specifics. What
He's hitting you like your love language. He speaks your love language. He's affirming you, or he's meeting your emotional, spiritual needs, whatever. Like there are all of that matters. And like you just said, an orgasm is mental as well.
That's
so
what I
if
was gonna
he's
say.
hitting certain things, like it all that plays a part.
And if he's sitting,
but if he's not, and you're just in it for the sex, then I need to hit. We need to go all the way to the top every time, sir.
Close your mouth. But that's it. If he's hitting every other spot, not that one, the mental of him hitting every other spot is gonna make one enjoy sex more. It's a mental thing. I don't care what nobody says.
It
Sex
is.
is very mental.
For us, it is. For
Right.
women, it is.
Until you take a girl trip to Jamaica and you meet Ronaldo or something, and then he hits you down there, and
Yeah, that's straight physical. That's straight
Yeah,
physical.
yeah.
You just
But
do that's
then,
straight
listen to
physical, and
this
that's
though.
different.
But did you hear what Brandy just said? She said enjoy sex. She didn't say orgasm.
Right.
Women can enjoy sex
Right.
and have it with you
That's true.
frequently and not orgasm.
So
Right.
That's
can
my
men.
point.
That
So
is true.
can men
right,
though.
so can men, right?
No, no,
Right.
no,
So that
no, wait. A man can enjoy sex, but if a man has sex with you for a 2-3 times and he does not come, I guarantee you,
Going
he's
to the
going
doctor.
to find someone somewhere. A man cannot do it like a woman.
That is
That ain't true
absolutely
because
untrue.
that's not
That is
true.
very
Because if you
untrue.
make the
You
woman
are
Am I
come,
true. Yeah.
That's
there's a
very
lot of
untrue.
people. There's a
Leroy,
lot. There's
am
a
I
lot of people
lying?
who find enjoyment in just making their women come.
Think about this.
There's,
No, can you think
there's
about
a
this?
lot of men that
Ricky, can you
Me,
put me
me
in
Dr.
too.
Jackson said, "Find me one."
can you put me in
Listen,
that direction, please?
what man is enjoying sex and around here not coming? I've never heard of that in life.
I have
isn't that
before.
it doesn't that
I've
cause
had. I've
I
had.
have before.
2 hands up.
I've had.
2 hands
Wow.
up. Yeah. Yeah.
Without
Because
Yeah. Yeah.
there are men out there
I love
that
it.
enjoy pleasure in their women. That's what their pleasure is.
That's
Totally.
me.
I
Their
get
pleasure is
Pleasure.
having
I
their
get
woman
that.
just.
no.
Oh my
But
god,
those
that was
aren't two in
amazing.
the same.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I
those
hear.
aren't two in the same things.
Yeah.
You can enjoy pleasuring your woman. That has nothing to do with what I'm saying is on the regular, you have sex with a girl and you don't finish, and that's okay.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
If
think
if
no,
I
wait
get
a
her
minute.
there, then I'm good.
Wait a minute.
Absolutely.
For the woman, I want to speak on her and from that standpoint. If I am having sex with a man and he is not coming, I would think that he's not enjoying me. Like
Exactly.
that is a goal. Like
Facts.
I want
Exactly.
you and I want to be
Bother
all
So,
me.
Gerard, don't
consistent
exactly.
every
That
time.
wasn't your point. Don't
Yeah.
exactly that.
If he is not and it's on the regular he's not, I would feel like, wait a
That would hurt
minute.
my
That's
feelings.
That
Right.
would bother
Yeah,
the
heck
Like,
no, I
hell
what's
don't want
wrong
none
with
of
how a lot
that.
of men
You don't
feel.
like
That's
me?
how a lot of men feel, though. That's how a lot
Yeah.
of men
And that's
feel.
why a lot of women fake it.
Put
And
that
that's why a lot of women fake it because a
that's
lot
why
of men
women
do
fake
feel
it.
that way. And if we're into that man, whether it's the orgasm or
Don't fake
not,
it for me.
I'm still enjoying it and I want you to enjoy it. So if I gotta do a little extra to make you feel like you done did whatever you did, then we're gonna do that because I like you. And I'm still enjoying it. I've enjoyed it.
When there are women who don't experience climaxes often, still that still desire for their man to, even if
Right.
she doesn't get there.
And
Right.
there are
desire for their man.
men that don't experience the same thing that want their partner to do the
Ooh.
same thing as well.
Dang, man. I'm sorry. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
that's
I apologize for that.
What?
Yeah. I saw that. Yeah.
Wait, there's been times where I had a partner that
Partner.
they required.
Oh no. Oh no,
Yep.
Mr.
yeah,
MSITER period.
that's real life though.
No.
Oh
That's
no.
normal.
Oh no.
You said
We're-
what? That's
Oh,
what,
good night.
I've seen that before.
Yeah,
That
we're
has happened
sorry for
before.
your experience.
Good night, Dig.
No, I think on those things he's gonna have to dig deeper because it's not over yet. Like you got
Awesome.
the I'm gonna let you take a 5-minute recess.
Come on, get me
You
back.
gotta
Yeah,
dig
I like
a
that.
little
Hey,
deeper.
better be
The game
good.
about to start.
She
The game
know,
ain't
coach.
over
She
yet.
know exactly what
Just
coach
like
said.
those
That's
little
what I'm
memes or those little videos you see on
Give me on,
Instagram where it's like, after the round 3, she like, get over here.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious though. I'm gonna go get you water. I might even give you a massage, but you need to get there mentally so we can. This ain't over yet.
Yeah,
And I'm gonna be nice about it. I ain't gonna be all aggressive, y'all.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Ash.
I might be a little aggressive.
When you said that, it brought back a memory.
Uh-oh.
Right?
We know his
Oh, Lord.
stories. Oh Lord.
Oh Lord.
All right,
What
buckle
who
up.
said what?
Everybody
Yes.
prepare yourselves.
I
Well,
was
how old were you? Because we know you was under 18.
I know because
Yeah.
we had to
And she
call
was
OPD
32.
last time.
We know
So
you was under 18. How old were you?
Let me go
I
get some
wasn't under
water
18.
first.
I was 18, but I wasn't under
It's
18.
18.
Right?
All right.
And I'm hitting this chick, and I promise she had both of them, 2 of them, right? Snap and a grip. And I probably might have been in it for about, I say maybe 3 minutes. I said,
Mhm.
yeah, oh man, this was an experience. So she said, you can do it. Come on, do it. So she started talking to me. And sure enough, Willie Armstrong stood up. He said,
That's it.
he said, Champ, get back in the ring. Get back in the ring, Champ. And when she said that, I jumped. So I'm saying that to say I could appreciate a woman like you. Because you'll make a man stand right back up. You know what I'm saying? Don't even give him 5 minutes. Immediately, and he'll jump right back up if you talk to him right. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
I'm with you all the way.
Yes.
And I feel like it is important for women to be sensitive in those times, because just like he needs to have good speech, so do we. And I mean, there might be a break that we need to have a conversation.
No, it's intimacy for a reason. You know what I'm saying? It's an intimate moment. So you gotta.
You miss me, SC.
You on mute, D.
I get.
I ain't talking
Yeah,
about
what was that?
conversation.
No, I get what you're saying, but it's still all intimacy. The sex part is still intimacy.
Have you guys ever had an internal orgasm?
A what?
Internal orgasm.
You talking about the dudes or the females?
Are you talking about the women?
Yeah, and yeah.
Come on, Cheryl. See,
Yeah.
I knew I would.
Yeah.
Oh, you talking about males? Oh, okay.
I need you to break this down for me. I
Right.
wanna hear
What is it? What is that? I'm gonna say no because I don't know what that is.
I appreciate it, Chubb.
It is oh gosh, how do you explain?
Is that the one where you feel it in your stomach?
It's the feeling without the.
It's not just in your. It's throughout.
The visual.
Yeah, it's throughout. It's not
It's throughout.
It's not just. Yes.
Yeah, and it is an actual feeling.
Right. It's a real feeling.
Yeah. I'm there. Yeah.
I'm there. Yeah.
I don't know how else to.
I'm speaking on behalf of my few partners. They will say yes.
This person
the collapse is real
versus vaginal. No,
that collapse is real.
Right, that's what I thought they were talking
it's
about.
Very animated.
The collapse is real.
It's very animated.
Just a tingling.
Someone be scratching their head like, what just happened?
How they did that?
Anyway, I am a business professional. Let me tone it down. I just saying, y'all still book me, please.
Book you for what?
Oh, come through, SC.
She's a photographer.
You down there.
Hold on. Don't block. Come on.
Shameless plug. Go ahead.
It ain't shameless. I'm just kidding, guys. Or am I? I don't know.
And she's not. Period. And that's it. And she said what she said.
But I think all of this kind of wraps and says that if you want to go back to the topic, which is the size matter, I think everything matters. You know what I'm saying? You can't just say just only one thing matters. I think you have to bring it has to be a full package. So just like you said earlier, Ashley, there's trade-offs, right? So if a man isn't extremely well endowed, but he can get you there, then it could almost trick you into thinking that he's extremely well endowed.
Right, but I think that the one thing that cannot be compromised from a woman's perspective is girth.
Okay, so let me
It
ask
is girth. It does not matter what kind of tricks he has in his bag. If there is no girth, that I think that's a deal breaker.
Well, it can be
but I heard something else in a different.
Baby.
No, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying 3 inches in length, and 2 inches and 2.5 inches in girth. That'll work for you.
I think 2.5. That's a bit much, but I think that
2.5 inches of girth.
That's a circumference. 2.5.
Yeah, that's pretty. Yeah, 2.5 is pretty.
That's a lot.
Calm down.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
2.5.
Man,
that's a lot. You ain't doing that with me.
Legit 2.5.
You trying to send somebody to the emergency room? That's a lot going on.
And not right.
But I feel like 3 inches, that's tough. But 3 inches with the right girth is doable.
Okay.
But 6 or 7 with no girth is
at all.
At all.
Is it in yet?
Right, but I might. But depending on if you've hit other places, And how much I like you, I might let you feel like a star tonight. I might let you feel like you had girth. But for me though, I would be lying the whole way through that, and it wouldn't be something for me.
Yeah,
And there wouldn't be a repeat performance.
Don't lie to me.
Well, I mean, the show was canceled
after the first episode.
No, before when the opening credits came on, that show, it was like it was a emergency warning that popped up.
Y'all are savages. Y'all are straight.
Opening credits.
Chubb,
Why are you saying y'all?
I don't feel bad no more. I don't feel bad.
Right,
They're savages.
I've been doing this every
They're just like
I want to say this
straight-
before I have to leave.
straight up
I think
savage.
that Question Time Live, Raw News, No Fluff, owes Leroy a written apology for how they battered him last week about Smell This.
Come on.
I think that he should contact his legal team. He deserves an apology on letterhead.
You want to represent me? No problem, Rob.
No, he don't. No, I got you.
Go, I got you.
All the opinions made here are not the opinions of Raw News, No Fluff.
Right. I'm not
we will not hold Raw News, No Fluff accountable for the opinions of the individuals.
Oh, but we can come after individuals. That's okay.
Raw News, No Fluff was in it. Yeah, was in it too.
Raw News, No Fluff is a company. I am an individual. Thank you very much.
Oh, that's what I love
you
about
can come after individuals, but let ST lead to come out there.
Come on.
Oh, you said let
I'm just kidding. It's a joke.
There it is.
Yeah, hey, he blushing.
Yeah.
Right. Not doing anything.
I'm blushing because I got knives.
Brown, now he bright red brown.
I got knives. I got knives.
I'm just.
But I mean, you know,
you don't even know what to say.
I don't know. I don't. I really don't know what to say. But you know,
She already
well,
done put
it's
that
just,
thing on
I
him.
mean,
She don't even
it's
know.
one of those things.
And
Well, no,
he got it already. He is stumbling over his words.
She already put
no, it's not. It's not
That is below me right now.
That always happens before the collapse.
What happened before the collapse?
Before the collapse.
You better stop playing with me.
She already put that thing on him.
You better stop playing with me.
Okay, I hear the man. Hey, I hear the man that you've been talking about raising up now. Come on now, let's go.
Look, it's
like you've been talking all night about this man. You've been
Hey,
you got.
Hey, stop.
Bring it out of him.
Bring it out of him. That's it. Stop playing with me.
Bring it out of him, coach.
Oh, I hope nobody's watching this live.
The player
Bring
is
him out of
being
him,
coached.
coach.
The player is being.
Whoa!
What, we kicking people out?
Girl, bye. Let me bye.
We kicking people out. What's going on?
Brandy, I hate you in the best way possible.
Oh, I'm like,
I hate you in the best way.
What just?
You are me.
I said,
you
what?
are me so much.
I'm joking. Like,
you are me so much.
I get on this line to have
Oh
a
my
good time.
gosh.
I'm just.
I love
joking.
you so much.
No.
Hey, man, it's all good. But I guess it's one of those things where
you can see his whole face now.
Oh man.
I'm done joking.
Hey, he got his taco meat showing it off.
Right. His shirt is definitely buttoned down one more.
Come on, Rico Suave.
I do like
what was that now?
What were you
I do
gonna
like
say?
Mexican food.
You were, what
Hey,
were you gonna
he
say?
sound more gentle. Hey, don't he sound more gentle? What's
Right.
that now?
Hey, Leroy.
Masculine.
Hey, Leroy. Earlier he was
Catering.
saying change his masculinity.
Catering
His masculinity has come all the way down.
Right.
I see Ash has made him.
Oh no, the masculinity is still there though.
Hey,
The masculinity is still there. That's just a different version of it.
He's coming back with
That's a different version of it.
Can we move on? Can we move on?
Right. It was the shimmy, Chef. It was the shimmy did her in.
Look at her. Her ass ain't right. She doing it again. Can we move on? Can we move?
Let's move on.
Oh my goodness.
I can't.
Oh my goodness.
That's the part about right now. I want the level of comfort that Oscar has with both his hands behind his head. What are you holding your phone up with? What is
Actually,
Same thing Swallow had. Same thing Swallow had.
that might answer more questions that need to be asked.
Oh,
No, this is a computer. This is I got a laptop. I just got it up close to me.
So
I
okay.
already got
me,
my eyes trying to get sick.
my
That's all.
question is: does booty size important?
Depends.
Point of attack, no.
No.
But
It,
you know,
it, it,
aesthetically,
it just depends. Aesthetically, yeah, but depending on the girl, because she has a pretty face, you know what I'm saying? And,
Oops.
you know, the,
Not
the
you being
stomach, the
ugly
stomach
with
right,
fat
you know what I'm
booty.
saying?
But
And
this is why I said it's not
if what's
equal.
in the, but, and then most times the ones without a butt, that thing be thanking, you know what
yeah.
I'm saying?
Plus, they
That'd be the
probably got
most, that
real
thing
like
be,
if you're big up front, then you like compensate. I mean that
yeah, you got less, you
yeah.
can't, but the skinny ones be, yeah.
Skinny
I mean,
ones is a
I've
separate
seen
topic.
women
Yeah.
that don't have real nice butts, but their hips are proportionate enough to make the, you know what I'm saying? So,
All
yeah,
right.
I can go with some hips and a, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I could do that.
I mean, ST brought up a point though and stuff. If they're really slender as well, like I was thinking, like maybe buxom. But if you slim and just don't have like any curves at all and stuff, there's old country saying "skinny well run deep" and
No,
stuff.
no,
So
no, that's true. That's no,
yeah, exactly. So
But
that'll keep
that's
you in
not a
the game.
saying. That is a scientific fact.
That's science, really? Okay,
That's a scientific fact.
agreed. Okay,
Studies have
but
shown.
Proven it.
Are you
but
the
Yeah.
scientist? Are you the scientist?
I was gonna
Yeah,
say,
all right. You the
Proven
one
I,
it.
doing
he
the
probably has the
experiment.
My
numbers.
I,
question
I
You
is,
was
probably
gonna
has the
I
say
can't
numbers
this
on
trust
that.
though.
those
Oh
I,
results.
Lord.
people say that, but you cannot discount that there are some women who are thick that have really good
Yeah,
equipment. Yeah, you
Thank you.
yeah
No, no,
oh
no.
yeah, I'm not gonna
yeah.
say that.
yeah. I was
Oh
gonna
yeah.
say you
Thank you.
cannot discount that there's some thick women there, and they have the visual thing is there, they have the physical thing there, and something about the way they hold you just makes you feel right at home.
The
You
rhythm, the
right.
shit
Not you
talk,
being
all of that.
little
Yeah,
spoon. I
Come
love
on.
that.
Ooh, I want to be like that.
yeah.
Come on.
Little spoon.
Call me Little Spoon then.
Right.
Yeah.
No,
There's
I
nothing
don't think it's that
wrong with
is
a guy being
is
the
that
little.
important.
Talk about yourself. Go.
But
Yeah,
that
I don't think the butt size is a huge.
That's why I
I
said
mean,
it's not
it's just the
equal.
package. It's just what package it comes in. You know what
I
I'm
think
saying?
But that's why. But see, to Ash's point, that's why I said it's not equal because you so see like men will go for a woman who's not necessarily curvy, but if there's no girth there, it's gonna be tough.
right. I was gonna say earlier in the
That's why I said they're
conversation,
not equal.
anybody who does not have a butt, like there's a rebuttal to that. If someone
Exactly.
comes up and they say, "Ruler, you don't got no ass,"
Rebuttal.
and but she could say, "Oh yeah, but this pussy work." She could say that. But a dude, if
Mhm.
they say you got an itsy bitsy teeny weenie, there's nowhere for a guy to go. He's shut
Well,
down.
Yeah, that's what I'm
At
saying.
I
home.
think the equivalent
Right?
then to that.
If
I
they
think the
say like,
equivalent
no, no.
to a guy.
Listen, Ash told us what to do. You gotta
If
tell
ain't
him I got great speech.
Hey, listen, hey Leroy,
she did say that.
I'm gonna tell you what old man told me. He said, if it ain't in your hips, make sure it's in your lips, son.
Well, now that there's a ruler, right?
Well, I think the equivalent to a man's size would be a woman's, how it all functions. So, like,
The snap
we
or
go
the
to the
grip.
snapper and the gripper.
That's what
Not
it
that,
is.
and then that thing,
What it is.
that thing gotta be leaking a little bit. The plumbing gotta just be, just drip,
Oh,
drip, drop
it
it.
gotta be leaking
You
a
know what
lot of
I'm
bit.
saying? It
I
gotta be,
like a lot of bit.
it gotta be leaking to a little to a
Yeah.
lot. You
Pour
mean
that
something?
out.
I mean, like
I
it gotta
like
be.
my mac and cheese creamy. The creamier the
I'm
better.
saying,
Let's search the
the
book of
creamier the better for me too.
Indianapolis.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But that just, and if it ain't doing that, then that's a problem. So then that, and
Let me say
some
this:
don't do that.
if it's creamy, she
She
has
has
an
a problem.
imbalance.
Yeah.
Right. She has
She
a
needs to go
pH
see a doctor.
imbalance.
No, that's not. No,
Don't know
no.
Well,
about
it
that.
depends
Well,
on
not
Maybe
the
I'm
viscosity
thinking
being
wrong.
deep. We're not talking about
pressure.
that.
No, that's
We ain't
not.
talking about that deep white viscosity.
Okay, because I'm like, what's
Okay.
Yeah,
the
Okay.
difference?
Thank you.
No. That's
Because I
not.
know
No,
I
that's not what
know
we're talking
Clarify
I
about.
know
that.
what Twitter has done to folks.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm
No,
saying.
We ain't talking about the deep white viscosity. We
Okay.
talking about,
Because I'm
like
like,
that thing.
wait a
That
minute.
thing
Okay.
gotta like, yeah.
This thing got
Yeah,
It
because
pain.
gotta,
I done had a
Okay.
few
Okay.
Dang,
it
gotta
gotta
be
be
Okay.
thinking.
thinking.
Okay.
Gotta be thinking.
So you never
Okay.
been caked up before, huh? That's interesting.
I was gonna say, so
What?
we don't
What?
like the mayonnaise? Is that what the
Oh God, I almost threw up.
Wait,
That's
wait,
nasty.
I almost
wait.
threw up. Oh God.
What did you say, Leroy? You gotta be. You have been what?
Don't repeat it. Nope.
I didn't
I
hear it
heard.
either. What did you say to realist?
Oh.
Nope.
He said something.
It's not worth it. Y'all can rewind it later. Nope.
Oh,
Pastor,
geez.
I have to go as well, but can I say
Yeah,
this?
me too.
As we're talking about size and all those things, let's not forget we are now in a world and a society where we should not have to worry about those things because there's something called surgery or medicine or
But it don't work. It don't work after a
wait,
while.
hold on. Wait.
Or implants.
Or there's premier adults. That's all I'm saying.
What's that?
Premier adult.
Oh,
Factory outlet. Take
That's
you
a
where you wanna
Boring.
go. Do do do. So you know the freak.
No,
First of
but
all,
is there a
that's not-
surgery? This is a real question because I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant.
Yes, it
Yes, sir.
Is there a surgery to
There
increase girth?
Absolutely.
There is.
Yeah, the inside. But
You
but the
don't
thing
advertise
about
on Instagram all the time.
That's
the thing is, if you get that surgery,
two words.
your shit it's not gonna work anymore.
That's not true.
Not
That's
necessarily.
absolutely
STD.
If you have
untrue.
a good surgeon,
Where
no,
does
that's not true.
ST3 get his facts? All
That's what I
night,
want to know.
all night, your facts have been off.
I'm not even gonna go. I'm not even gonna go into that.
But he says
I'm not even gonna go into that.
you
To the
got to
person
give
who was
him
preaching
credit.
I'm
about
not even gonna go. I listen.
To the person who's preaching about Google, you don't use it well. That is not true.
If you go get surgery, go ahead and go get surgery. And tell me in about 10 years if your shit's still working properly.
That has nothing to
There's been porn stars that had interviews about that. That literally said that they
but
went and
there are
got surgery.
exceptions to every rule, though. There are exceptions to every rule, but you're like the guy that says getting a vasectomy gonna make your stuff not working. I got friends that have them, and
No, that's stupid. That ain't done.
You missed his example. You missed his point.
Hold on, I got a question. Would it if a dude, if you said, "Oh man, that's big," and he said, "Oh, it's an implant," would that turn you off?
I think that there's a difference between. I think that there's a difference. If I couldn't tell, then no. But I think women getting BBLs and you can just outright tell, then that's different. But if I couldn't tell, if by looking at it, then no, that wouldn't turn me off.
Okay.
But good night, y'all. Y'all be safe out there in these streets.
Good night.
Okay. Anybody else got anything else to say? Because it is late, and I'm gonna try to get up and try to be found one day.
I don't have anything else to say.
Nah, I think everybody
just be happy with what you got and try to work it the best you can.
There you go. Yeah, don't operate on the original.
That's it. The world got its warped vision of what things should be, but the best thing you can do is know what you got and practice so that when you get into the game,
how you practice?
Huh?
Who you practicing with before you get in the game?
Who do you practice with?
Yeah,
that's your topic. Practice. Yeah, that's your topic next week.
There it is. Who do you practice with?
Wants men to be experienced. Well, okay, but I mean, you can make a part too. I mean, because everybody wants men to be experienced, but who we gonna practice on? So the world needs whores. So I mean, that's your next topic right there. You need. I mean,
jeez.
Roll Tide. I mean, we need a scout team to practice on. You need somebody to practice on. So
we will figure that out.
Of
course, gotcha. All right. Thank you.
Good night, y'all.
Have a good one.
Thank you. Lord. All right, y'all. Okay. So, there you have it. We had discussions today about size, and per usual, it goes left, right, up, down. That sounds very sexual. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for joining us every Wednesday, 9 p.m. New topic, same place, same time. I'm loving these new hosts. Thank you, Stelson. Thank you, Oscar. Thank you, Leroy, Gerard. I'm going to say our names. Ashley, Danielle, Swallow, although you left. Sharon, thank you for joining. And oh, shoot. Digger. Free. Why is your name escaping me? But thank you all for joining. We will see you next week. Try not to make it go 3 hours, but hey, it is what it is. I enjoy it. Glad for the community. Take care.